Now a look at the Budweiser starting lineup for the New York Mets. And again, Piazza with figures just about identical to those of Chipper Jones in this postseason. After being robbed by Alfonso, Chipper is now 4 for 24.
And Greg Maddux, 19-9, he uses his fastball. Everything works off of his fastball. He throws a lot more fastballs than people realize. He works it left and right. He'll cut it. He'll throw the sinker. And he will throw you the changeup quite often.
Henderson 1 for 13 without a steal in the series, takes a strike. All the damage you see there in the postseason came against Arizona in the division series. 0-2 to Ricky, and we go to Craig Sager.
After batting practice, Turk Wendell tried to apologize to Ricky Henderson for the comments about being a quitter. Like last night with his manager, Ricky was not interested in accepting an apology. I talked to Turk moments ago. He said, I apologize for what I said, but not for how I felt. Bob?
Craig, thank you. The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball inside. Maddux was 19-9 this year. A late September loss here at Shea Stadium, which included a John Olerud grand slam, denied him win number 20. But he's won 4 of 5 decisions this year against New York. A bouncer over Maddox's head, charging his Weiss. He'll have to hurry. Safe.
Maddux threw him a sinker. Ricky gets a good start toward first, because watch how he swings at this pitch. See, he's leaning toward first. When he hits it, running down the line, and he beats the throw. Yeah. And there's Turk Wendell pulling for his teammate. And I'm sure if Turk comes in the ball game today, Ricky will be pulling for him.
Provided he's in the dugout or on the field. Wherever he wasn't at the end of the game last night.
There were newspaper reports that he left the stadium, but he did not, according to Bobby Valentine, the manager.
Maddux doesn't have a good pickoff move. Ricky's not going, and ball 1 to Alfonso. Henderson is, of course, the career stolen base leader by far, owns the single season stolen base record, and has led his league in steals 11 different times in his career. Stole 37 this season.
Smart move there by Maddux then. Ricky was taking that moving lead, walking lead, and Greg made him stop. Ricky likes to get that walking lead. He doesn't like to stop. He likes to have his momentum moving a little bit towards second base at all times.
Alfonso back in the 2 slot in the lineup. Swings and misses. He struck out 6 times and went 0 for 8 the last 2 nights, batting third.
And one of the reasons that they're able to get him out, Bob, is that pitch right there, the high fastball. He handles the low fastball, middle of the plate in very well, but they have found that they were able to get him out, throwing him fastballs up and especially away.
He will be 41 on Christmas Day. Keeps himself in great shape. Says he'd like to play 3 or 4 more years. He bluffs the go, and Alfonso takes a ball. They check down at first, but he didn't go on the swing.
Ricky, not the force he used to be on the bases. I mean, he's 40 years old, so doesn't run as well as he did earlier in his career. But I think on that particular play, he was just timing Maddux to make sure that he could get the start that he wants.
He's going now, and Alfonso, trying to turn away from it, inadvertently hits it foul.
Well, I felt like Ricky was timing him and getting it right, and once he does that, he takes off. He gets a good jump there. See, it's a straight steal because he doesn't even look to see what happens at the plate. And they're trying to keep the ball up on Edgardo, and that one is up and in. He cannot get out of the way.
John Olerud, last night's hero, is on deck. Henderson's going again, and the 2-2 pitch is driven to the gap in left center field, but racing over to take it is Andrew Jones. Henderson scampering back toward first, makes it.
Ricky had another good jump on Maddox on that pitch. But Edgardo had 2 strikes on him, and he ripped it to left center. Now watch, you'll see good jump there by Ricky. But Edgardo gets that ball, finally gets one down that he likes, and he rips it, but Andrew Jones runs it down. Ricky has to hustle back to first base because Andrew Jones takes a shot at him at first base, trying to double him off. And Alfonso says, come on back, get back here. You see Plesko trying to decoy him into thinking the throw is not coming to first base.
Here's Olerud taking ball 1.
If you're wondering why Olerud is hitting third today in his normal spot, there are 2 ways you try to defeat the John Rocker factor. One is to split your left-handers up farther apart in the lineup. The other is to try to have a lead going into the late innings, and that's the tactic that Bobby Valentine chose today. He's going to try to score some runs early, and that way Rocker will not come in if he's behind.
Maddox won the Cy Young Award 4 years in succession, 92 through 95 seasons. Gets the called strike to Olerud, 1-1. Greg has twice won 20, exactly 20. 4 times he's been a 19-game winner. He's 33 and he has 221 career victories, so he has a shot at 300. Olerud takes it low. In an offense-happy era, Greg Maddox's career ERA is 2.81.
Ricky's not running now, Bob, because it took a lot of energy for him. You remember he's suffering from a little case of flu-like symptoms, but he ran to second 2 times, and then he had to hustle back to first base, and I saw him with his hands on his knees and trying to regroup. But I think he's already figured out Greg Maddox's motion and his delivery time.
Chases him back.
Well, Greg is definitely aware that Ricky's at first base, because I don't think I've ever seen him throw that many times to first base with any base runner.
Not going, and the 2-1 pitch is hit high and deep to right center field.
Black looking up at the wall. It's out of here! John Olerud with a 2-run homer off Greg Maddox. And the Mets jump out to a 2-0 first inning lead. It was John Olerud who hit the grand slam off Greg Maddox the final week of the season here at Shea Stadium, on the day when the Mets strung together 8 straight hits against Maddox. And Olerud takes him deep again. And for a rare time in this series, the Mets get off to a fast offensive start. Olerud hit the home run last night, and now he hits a 2-run homer his first time up today. Here's the pitch to Piazza, a call strike, 0-1. Boy, John Olerud brought his bat to the table last night, and it is still rocking.
Boy, he's had such big home runs. Remember, he hit a home run off Randy Johnson in Phoenix, Arizona.
Piazza 2 for 14 in the series as he stands in. The 0-1 pitch, ground ball toward the hole, base hit going through into left field. So the Mets, 4 batters into the first inning, have 3 hits. And the only man who was retired, Edgardo Alfonso, hit a hard shot to center field that was caught. The numbers will tell you that over the years, when Greg Maddox pitches in the postseason, he's usually pretty dominant his first appearance in a series. But when he has to go up against a team a second time in that same series, he generally gets hit pretty hard. And that is bearing out in the first inning today. Here's Robin Ventura. Pitch by Maddox, foul back to the screen, 0-1.
Robin Ventura has really gone through a dry spell, but he's a great hitter. He'll break out, and when he does, the pitcher's going to have to pay.
Robin has really not been hitting since the beginning of September when that knee began to flare up. He's battling a shoulder problem as well. Robin now 0 for 12 in this series. The pitch by Maddox and a high pop-up, third base side, foul ground. Chipper Jones standing under it waiting. And Chipper makes the catch. That's the second out. So Ventura has fouled out. 2 out in the inning. Piazza still on first, and now Melvin Mora will be the hitter. Mora has played a much bigger role in this series than anybody could have fathomed. Melvin has played on defense. He has been a pinch hitter. And he has now started 2 games in this series after starting only 3 games the entire season. He's getting the call here today because Roger Cedeno has some severe back spasms, and that have kept Roger out of the lineup. Mora 3 for 6 in the series, including a home run. And he takes the pitch high from Maddox, 1 ball, no strikes. This is a guy who had only 5 hits in the major leagues the entire season, and he's got 3 in this series. Plesko holding against Piazza at first. 2-0 New York, opening inning. Maddox deals, and a call strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Mets generating some offense here in the first inning. Well, we're going to have to look back when the last time the Mets had 3 hits in an inning was. They might have not have done this entire series.
They've only been getting about 4 or 5 hits a game.
The 1-1 to Mora, and a fly ball hit to right field. Moving over toward the line is Brian Jordan. He's there, and Jordan makes the catch. The inning is over, but a productive first inning for the New York Mets thanks to John Olerud's home run. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 man left on. 1 inning completed. Shea, Mets 2, Braves nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
The Yankees lead the Red Sox 2 games to 1. But what a magnificent performance by Pedro Martinez as the Red Sox routed Roger Clemens and the Yankees winning 13-1. Tonight, with the game at Fenway Park, former New York Met Brett Saberhagen will be on the mound, and Andy Pettitte will be pitching for the New York Yankees.
And it's simplistic to say, but obviously Saberhagen has got to pitch a whole lot better than he did in Game 5 against Cleveland.
He's had a shoulder problem that flares up from time to time. I don't know how it is right now. I did read a story yesterday where he said his shoulder was fine.
Well, he is going to require surgery when the year is over, and of course that's the shoulder that kept him out of action for nearly 2 years. So they're rolling the dice, and I'm sure they'll have the bullpen ready behind Brett Saberhagen tonight.
And behind Brett Saberhagen, the Red Sox will rely on Ramon Martinez.
You don't suppose Pedro's available in relief tonight, do you?
I wouldn't think so. Boy, he's something else, isn't he? Brett Boone is the batter facing Masato Yoshi. 4th inning now. And the pitch a little bit low, 1 ball and no strikes. Brett Boone was struck out in the first inning. Boone has 3 hits in 16 times at bat in the LCS. Fastball's good-looking pitch for a call strike.
And I was surprised last night in the 9th inning with Armando Benitez on the mound to see Bobby Cox bat for Brett Boone. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. But he's only hitting 188 at the LCS at the moment. There's a well-hit drive to left field. Ricky Henderson racing back, over his head, bouncing off the wall now. Boone is on his way to second. A stand-up double leading off the 4th inning. He hit that line drive like a bullet. Got it over the head of Ricky Henderson. It bounced off the wall.
Yeah, Ricky tracking that ball very tentatively as he went back in left field. And if Ricky wants to know why he gets taken out for defense late in games, well, that's why. He's just not a very good outfielder.
No, he's not a terrific left fielder by any means. I think the best left fielder I ever saw at Shea Stadium playing for the Mets was Kevin McReynolds.
He was great, and Bernard Gilkey, the great year that he had, he was pretty nice out there as well.
Yeah, he was good. Kevin McReynolds, who was quite a player in college in Arkansas, he can really play left field. Now the hitter is Chipper Jones. Throw to second, not in time.
Well, the fact of the matter is, for the most part, Barry Bonds notwithstanding, your best defensive outfielders don't play left field.
No, they don't. They're usually in center field. And you want your best throwing outfielder in right field. Doesn't always work out that way. Chipper Jones, the hitter. Chipper hit the ball hard, and Alfonso made a very good play on him in the first inning. Masato Yoshi checks the runner at second. Misses high and away, 1 ball and no strikes. That double by Brett Boone, the second base hit allowed by Masato, both have been 2 base hits. Eddie Perez had a double leading off the last inning and was left stranded. Chipper Jones, who had a terrific year, is at the plate. Swing and a foul tip. Breaking ball thrown by Masato Yoshi. Chipper Jones hit 45 home runs. That broke Todd Hundley's record for home runs by a switch hitter. Todd had hit 41 for the New York Mets. Chipper named the stat, and he pretty well accomplished it this year. Over 100 runs scored, over 100 walks, over 100 RBIs. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. It was low and inside. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes on Chipper Jones.
Well, the bottom is really dropping out of Masato Yoshi's splitter this afternoon. He had the good high fastball early in the game. Now throwing a lot of splitters, and Braves are swinging right over the top of it.
Now here at Shea, the big crowd rises to its feet. The count 1-2 on Chipper Jones. A runner on second and nobody out. Mets nursing a 2-0 lead in the 4th inning. Yoshi looking into Mike Piazza. Brett Boone leading off second. And the pitch. Ground ball, base hit over the third base bag. Rolling down the line in foul territory. Around third is Boone. Boone will come in to score. It's an RBI double for Chipper Jones. Jones batting left-handed. Hit late, hit the ball hard. Hit it right over the third base bag and on down the line to drive in a run. Back-to-back doubles. And now it's a 2-1 ball game. We pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
The Colts beat the Jets 16-13 on a late field goal. Up next, Game 4, the ALCS between the Yanks and Red Sox. Coverage at 7:15 on WFAN New York.
Bob Murphy with Gary Cohen. It's now 2-1 New York. The tying run is on second base with only 1 out. And the cleanup batter, Brian Jordan, is standing in. Swing and a miss at a fastball.
Well, Masato Yoshi got ahead of Chipper Jones with 2 splitters, tried to come with the fastball, but Chipper did a great job inside-outing that ball and hitting it right over the third base bag.
No way in the world the Mets had any play on that ball hit by Chipper Jones. Brian Jordan has only 2 hits in the series. Both hits have been home runs. First one he hit tied the game at 2-2. Fastball high outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Chipper Jones, who's been held in check throughout this series, tonight or this afternoon, looking a lot better swinging the bat. He's had 2 very good times at bat in a row.
When they're established hitters, proven hitters, it's just a question of time until they break out. 1-1 the count on Brian Jordan, and a swing and a foul ball back, no play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Little stirring around in the New York Mets bullpen. Mets facing elimination. They can't wait around. They have to keep that bullpen active.
Oral Hershiser starting to throw.
Hershiser is such a willing performer. First sign of trouble, he's ready to jump up and get it going.
He's pitched only 1 inning in the postseason so far.
1-2 count on Brian Jordan. And a drive hit hard to left field. That'll be a base hit. Rounding third is Chipper Jones. He'll try to score. Ball bobbled in left field by Ricky Henderson. He has no play. Throws it in to second base. And now the Braves have tied the game. 3 consecutive hits.
Ryan Klesko.
So now the game is all tied up. Jordan drives in the tying run. What happened to Ricky Henderson out there left? Let's watch. Oh, it broke off of his glove. It took a high hop. He jumped to get it, and it broke off of his glove. He didn't really have a play at home plate anyhow.
Yeah, wouldn't have made any difference. No. Chipper Jones was going to score no matter what.
Oh, yeah. So now the game has been tied up by the Braves, and they have a runner on first base. Still nobody out. Ryan Klesko is the hitter. 3 hits in a row off Yoshi, and a fastball just inside, ball 1. Yoshi was terrific over the first 3 innings, allowing only 1 hit. Now he has given up 3 hits in a row. Doubles by Boone and Chipper Jones and a single by Brian Jordan. So it's all even at 2-2 in the 4th inning. High and outside, Klesko lays off. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, in the first inning, the Mets had 3 hits in an inning for the first time in the series. The Braves now, here in the 4th inning, have had 3 hits in an inning for only the 2nd time in the series.
And the Mets have Oral Hershiser loosening in the bullpen. You know Bobby Valentine is not going to stay with any of his pitchers very long here this afternoon because there's no tomorrow. The 2-0 delivery, up high, ball 3. And Yoshi's encountering a lot of trouble right now. He falls behind Ryan Klesko, 3 balls and no strikes. Dangerous situation right here.
And Klesko, a guy who will go after a 3-0 pitch.
Ryan Klesko, a big guy, a left-hand hitter. And the pitch on the way. He takes it. It's over at the knees for a called strike. Klesko has 1 hit in 6 times at bat of the series. The 1 hit was a home run, a line drive over the right field fence. Masato Yoshi needing to get it out. Jordan is on first and nobody out. There goes Jordan. Foul ball back on the screen. No play. So a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Piazza gets tipped by a foul ball. So the plate umpire, Jerry Lane, gives him a little time to feel better.
Looks like it was Klesko's backswing that hit Piazza on the left wrist.
Yeah, it sure was.
Gerald Williams nailed him the other night. Mike probably gets hit with more foul tips and backswings than any catcher I've ever seen.
You think he works closer than most catchers? I wouldn't think so.
He says he thinks it's because he's taller than most catchers. More of a target.
That's possible. 3-2. Let's see if Jordan is ready. He draws a throw to first base and scampers back. Braves stirring things up here in the 4th inning. They have 3 hits in a row. They've scored 2 runs. They've tied the game 2-2. Mets have taken a lead in the first on Olerud's 2-run homer. Throw to first, not in time.
Well, if Jordan was running on 3-1, it's a pretty good bet he'll run 3-2, but you've got Klesko at the plate, and Klesko is prone to strike out, so you get that shot at a strike him out, throw him out.
And still another throw over to first by Masato Yoshi. Each team at the moment has 2 runs on 4 hits. Bobby Cox will be flashing the signs. There goes, no, he's not running. The pitch is inside and low, ball 4. Klesko reaches on a walk. Now the Braves have had 4 men in a row reach base. And they have runners on first and second.
The center fielder.
So Masato Yoshi running into 9 miles of bad road right here.
And Bobby Valentine with his cap off, holding his head, and he's got to be thinking, how much rope can I give Yoshi? Do I have to pull him right now?
Well, here comes Dave Wallace, the pitching coach. Dave Wallace makes the changes. Bobby Valentine does not go out. So it appears we're going to get Oral Hershiser. We will wait to get the sign. There's the sign from Dave Wallace, and Hershiser will come in the game. Oral Hershiser on in relief now for the New York Mets. Oral is now 41 years old. Won 13 games as the starting pitcher for the New York Mets this year. He did relieve in the series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, pitching 1 inning. Hershiser is a sinker-slider pitcher, a ground ball out pitcher. And Bobby Valentine knows the thing he needs the most right now is a ground ball to try and get a double play. Andrew Jones, the center fielder, will be the hitter. So the Braves have not only tied the game, but now they have runners on first and second with nobody out.
Now with Hershiser, you just never know. If he's got his sinker working, he might last a long time in this game. But if he doesn't have his sinker working, you got to have another arm ready in a hurry, and the Mets will keep their bullpen busy.
Alfonso and Ordonez are at double play depth. The hitter is Andrew Jones. The pitch, a foul ball straight back. And a 1-strike count on center fielder Andrew Jones. Jones flied to left his first time up. Masato Yoshi lost his good stuff very quick after pitching terrific baseball the first 3 innings. But here in the 4th inning, Brett Boone led off with a double. Chipper Jones doubled down the left field line, driving a run in. Brian Jordan single left, driving in a run. The hitter is Andrew Jones. Edgardo Alfonso shades towards second, trying to keep the runner close. The runner at second is Brian Jordan. Bunts the ball down the first base line. It will roll foul, no play. Hershiser gets off the mound, picks it up in foul territory. Now a 2-strike count on Chipper Jones.
Well, the way Eddie Perez has been swinging the bat in this series, certainly not a bad move on Andrew Jones's part to try and sacrifice the runners up.
Perez has been the leading hitter for Atlanta. doubled his first time up here today.
Pat Mahomes loosening now in the Mets bullpen.
You've just got to use everybody you have. Because if the Mets lose this game, their season is over.
Dave Wallace was asked before the game who's available today. He said everybody but Rick Reed. And Reed came up to him and said, you can use me if you need to.
Absolutely. There's no tomorrow. This is it. You have to win. Andrew Jones standing in against Orel Hershiser. Jordan is on second. Klesko is on first. Jordan got a base hit to knock a run in. The first baseman, Ryan Klesko, the big left-hand hitter, he reached on a walk. Hershiser shakes off one sign, shakes off another. Now the pitch on the way. Swing and a foul ball, and that one strikes the plate umpire, Jerry Lane.
I knocked him right to his knees. Looks like Jerry's okay, but that really hit him hard.
He gets a baseball out of his apron, throws it out to the mound to Orel Hershiser. Hershiser has pitched a lot of very good ball games for the New York Mets this year. When he's really on top of his game, the first 6 innings, he's almost untouchable. But when he doesn't have that good sinker, it's a difficult outing. Right now, he wants a ground ball hit to second or short in the very worst way. Now the stretch by Hershiser. The pitch. Struck him out, swinging. Good fastball on the outside corner. He strikes out Andrew Jones.
And Hershiser, after getting the ball back from Piazza, made one of his little flips to Alfonso, hoping to run a hidden ball trick. The only problem was Brian Jordan was staring right at him when he did it.
Now the hitter is Eddie Perez, the catcher. Perez had an opposite field double his first time at bat. Now Hershiser will be trying hard to get that ground ball that could end the inning. Brian Jordan is on second. Ryan Klesko is on first. Mets and Braves are 2-2 in the 4th inning. The tall, lanky right-hander Orel Hershiser deals low outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Orel has won over 200 Major League ball games. 203 and 145 losses.
So you got 2 200-game winners going head-to-head now.
You sure do. Orel Hershiser and Greg Maddux. There aren't very many 200-game winners around active in the major leagues.
Only one other, and that's Roger Clemens.
Now the pitch on the way, swung on and fouled off. 1 ball and 1 strike on Eddie Perez. Hershiser hoping to get the Mets out of this inning, still in a tie. Game is tied 2-2. Runners are on first and second with only 1 man away. Another sellout crowd in the postseason here at Shea. Crowd is silenced right now, sweating it out with the New York Mets as they try and put down the Atlanta Braves. If the Braves win, they go to the World Series to play either the Yankees or the Red Sox. World Series this year will open in the National League City. Remember the last time the Mets played the World Series in '86? It opened in the National League. Mets played the first 2 games of that series at Shea Stadium. And wouldn't you know, they lost both games. So they went to Fenway trailing 2-0, won 2 out of 3 in Boston. Swing and a miss on a slider that was in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Real good job there by Mike Piazza to handle that nasty slider that was in the dirt. Now you'll hear the roar of the crowd. Many will be on their feet. Eddie Perez, the hitter. Perez has 7 hits in 14 times at bat in the League Championship Series. So, yeah, he's had a very hot bat. Right now, the runners are standing on first and second. Ray Ordonez and Edgardo Alfonso looking for a double play ball. Darrell Hamilton is straight away in center field. Now Hershiser toes the pitching slab. The roar of the crowd starts to build. Hershiser with a 1-2 count on Eddie Perez. And now Hershiser steps up. Big moment of this baseball game right here. Braves have already scored twice, and they have 2 men on base with only 1 out. Eddie Perez wags the bat around. Now he cocks it. Squib foul off to the right. No play. So the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on right-hand hitter Eddie Perez. The veteran shortstop, Walt Weiss, a switch hitter, is waiting on deck.
The League Championship Series has been a great showcase for Oral Hershiser. Never more so than in 1988. He started 3 games against the Mets and relieved in another at a 1.09 ERA and pitched a shutout in Game 7.
1988 was the year of Oral Hershiser. He won the Cy Young. He had an incredible season, winning 23 games. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He swung and fouled it off. Just got a piece of that. So the count holds at 1 ball, 2 strikes on Eddie Perez.
But if you add up all of Oral's numbers in the League Championship Series with the Dodgers and with the Indians, he's 4-0 in League Championship Series play. Of all the postseason rounds, this is where Hershiser has been the most successful.
Compare that with Greg Maddux, who's 4-6 in League Championship Series action. We're waiting now with a count 1-2 on Eddie Perez. Mets are in a tough spot here in the 4th inning. 2 runs have scored. The game is tied 2-2. Runners on first and second. Eddie Perez, 7 for 14 in the LCS, is the hitter. Now the crowd is standing and roaring. The 1-2 pitch. Struck him out, swinging. Great slider by Oral Hershiser. He strikes out Eddie Perez. Now there are 2 men away. Now the shortstop, Walt Weiss, a switch hitter, comes up. He lined the ball to center field. It was caught by Darrell Hamilton, his first time at bat.
Boy, so many times this year we've seen Hershiser go to the mound with only 1 weapon, his great sinker. But he's got a slider working here, and it's got notched from a couple of strikeouts already.
Yeah, that's been a very effective slider. Kept it low and breaking away from a right-hand hitter. So now 2 men away, runners on first and second. The batter is Walt Weiss. Weiss is a veteran who knows how to play in the clutch. And the pitch on the way. Ground ball hit down to first base, fielded by John Olerud. The toss to the pitcher out at first base. What a job by Oral Hershiser. He comes in to get 3 in a row, fanning 2 of the 3. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 2 men left on. Middle of the 4th inning at Shea. The Mets 2 and the Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. What an outstanding relief job by the 41-year-old right-hander, Oral Hershiser.
The third baseman.
Retired 3 in a row, struck out the first 2. Then a ground ball down to the first baseman, John Olerud. Retired the side. So the game is tied at 2. Last of the 4th inning here at Shea. Robin Ventura, Melvin Mora, and Darrell Hamilton are due to bat. Ventura fouled out to Chipper Jones, his first at-bat. So Robin Ventura hitless in 13 at-bats of the series. Outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Each team has 2 runs and 4 base hits. The pitch by Greg Maddux. Swing at him is on a slider, 1 ball and 1 strike. Maddux lost his first postseason appearance this year. He lost the first game of the division series against the Astros. But he beat the Mets his second outing. Foul ball, that's it down the left field line and over into the crowd. Braves lost the first game to the Houston Astros. Then they won 3 in a row to win the series. The 1-2 delivery. That's a breaking ball low, 2-2. When you talk to Braves fans, they'll tell you that it was an incredible play made by Walt Weiss that enabled the Braves to go on and win that series with the Houston Astros. Now the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball right side of the infield. Looking for it is Brett Boone. Throws on to first, 1 man down. 1 out and nobody on. We pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
The Jets fall to 1-5, losing to the Colts 16-13 on a late field goal by Mike Vanderjagt. After the Mets, Game 4 of the ALCS on WFAN New York.
Bob Murphy with Gary Cohen. We're at Shea. The game is tied at 2. Mets scored twice in the first on a 2-run homer by John Olerud. And Greg Maddox has really settled in now. He's retired the last 7 hitters. Fastball and a strike call. Melvin Mora flied to right. His first time up. Mora playing right field for Roger Cedeno here this evening. Cedeno with back spasms. And last night, Roger had 3 for 3 in the game. Swing and a miss at a slider thrown by Greg Maddox.
Not only 3 for 3, but 2 stolen bases, and he scored the tying run. And he looked fine when he was jumping into Melvin Mora's arms after they both crossed home plate.
He led that double steal, a daring maneuver that enabled the Mets to win the game. Mets then scored 2 runs on the ground single up the middle by John Olerud. 1 out and nobody on. Mets batting in the home 4th inning now. Here's the pitch by Greg Maddox. And a fastball a little bit high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Maddox lifetime against New York, 26-13. Boy, the Mets have been up against Greg Maddox an awful lot. This year he's counting postseason play, 4-1 against New York. The 1-2 pitch. Check swing bouncer foul over toward the home dugout. So now the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. You like the way Melvin Mora plays the game. He's been around quite a while. He knows how to play it. He can still run very, very fast. He's a native of Venezuela like Edgardo Alfonso. The 1-2 pitch. Ground ball hit to shortstop. Handled by Walt Weiss. Here's the throw. Got him at first base. So quickly 2 up and 2 set aside.
In fact, this has been a great showcase this series for the Venezuelan contingents. Eddie Perez has had a tremendous series. So has Roger Cedeno. Of course, the greatest Venezuelan baseball player of them all is sitting in the Braves dugout, unable to play, Andres Galarraga.
Andres Galarraga, very much a part of the ball club, though. He gets in uniform, and he's really leading the way over that Atlanta Braves dugout. Darrell Hamilton is the hitter against Maddox. Ground ball hit hard to first, right by Klesko, going into right field. Hamilton around first, he'll stop there. We'll wait for the official scoring. It was hit very hard by Darrell Hamilton, and it went by Ryan Klesko like it was shot.
Well, Klesko reached out to his right, expecting that ball to come up, but the ball hit the lip of the grass, and it flattened out and went right under Klesko's glove. That ball was hit so hard, I think I'd have to give Hamilton a base hit.
Yeah, I would too. A 2-out single to right for Darrell Hamilton, and now Ray Ordonez is the hitter. 5 hits for the New York Mets. Ray Ordonez grounded out to the second baseman his first time up. Game tied 2-2, last half of the 4th inning. Throw to first is not in time. Darrell Hamilton is now 2 for 2 in the game. Mets have 2 runs on 5 hits. The Braves have 2 runs on 4 hits. And the pitch on the way. Fly ball hit in the air to right field. Easy play for Brian Jordan. He gets under it, makes the catch for the out. So the Mets are gone in their half of the 4th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and a man left on. After 4 innings at Shea, the Mets 2 and the Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. We go to the 7th inning now. The game is still tied at 2. 2 errors charged to Ryan Klesko. You're very fortunate when you make 2 errors in 1 inning and a run does not score. Timely double play, a ground ball to Walt Weiss. Stepped on second, threw on to Klesko. So now it is the 7th inning here at Shea. The Mets closed out the Braves in the 6th inning with a double play when the Braves tried to squeeze a run home. So the leadoff batter, Gerald Williams, is up facing Oral Hershiser. Oral has now worked 3 scoreless innings in relief. Gerald Williams, a right-hand hitter, and a strike called on the inside corner. Not very good first base play on the part of Ryan Klesko. Now Hershiser checking it out with Mike Piazza. And the pitch to Gerald Williams. That's over for a call strike.
A pretty bizarre symmetry in that 6th inning. Olerud made an error. Klesko made 2. Each team loaded the bases with 1 out. Neither team scored.
That's unusual.
That is really strange.
Bizarre is the word. 2-strike count on Gerald Williams. Now the pitch. Reaches for it. Pops it up into shallow right field. Coming in under it now. Waiting to make the play is Melvin Mora. Makes the catch. 1 man down.
The second baseman.
So Mora catches the pop-up in shallow right field. And the number 2 hitter, Brett Boone, will bat. Boone has 1 for 3, a double. Atlanta 2 runs on 5 hits. The Mets 2 runs on 7 hits. Braves had only 3 hits in the game last night. Only 3 hits in the game prior to that. That's how well the Mets have been pitching in this series. Look out. And he's hit by a pitch ball. Brett Boone will go to first base. Hit by a pitch ball. That one got away from Oral Hershiser.
Got Boone on the left arm. Bobby Valentine is out to argue that the ball hit the bat and not the arm of Boone.
Boy, that is tough because Chipper Jones is the batter coming up. You like to have Chipper coming up there with nobody on so you can walk him if you want to. And they have been walking Chipper. They've been pitching around him the whole series.
And you know what? It didn't hit him.
It did or it didn't?
It did not. Watching the replay, it sailed right under his arm. Boone immediately began shaking that arm, but I don't think it hit him, Bob. I think Hershiser had a case.
It may have took his uniform shirt. It's kind of hard to tell.
But the way he was rubbing his arm, it was obvious that he was trying to show that he had been hit, and it didn't get his arm. I mean, it certainly didn't hit him hard enough to hurt.
Well, at any way, he gets away with it. And Otis, whether he was hit or whether he wasn't. He's down at first base.
Otis Nixon will run for Boone now.
Otis Nixon, 40-year-old ball player who can still fly. And now Dave Wallace, the pitching coach, is coming out, and we're going to see the Mets go to their bullpen. Beautiful relief job here today by Oral Hershiser. And now Dave Wallace is going out to take the ball, and Turk Wendell will come in. Turk Wendell makes his 4th appearance in the League Championship Series. He has been very good. He set a new Mets club record by making 80 relief appearances this year. And he has to pitch to Chipper Jones as he comes into that game. So Brett Boone was hit by a pitch. Otis Nixon is in for a pinch runner. And the batter is Chipper Jones. Chipper has a double, 1 hit and 2 times at bat, and a walk. Throw to first now by Turk Wendell. Handled by John Olerud. 2-2. Braves are hitting in the visiting 7th inning. Switch hitter Chipper Jones batting left-handed against Turk Wendell. And a hard throw to first is not in time.
Early in the season, Otis Nixon was a starting left fielder for the Braves. Did not hit at all. And for most of the season now, he's been exclusively a pinch runner. He can still steal a base.
So Turk Wendell is keeping a wary eye on the pinch runner, Otis Nixon. And the pitch on the way, swinging a foul ball, going over toward the visiting dugout. And a 1-strike count now on Chipper Jones. Chipper's bat has not been very hot so far in the postseason. He came into this game with 1 for 10 in the League Championship Series. Today, he has a double in 2 times at bat. He knocked in the first run when he doubled with a hard grounder right over the third base bag. It went down into the left field corner. Now Wendell's side again. Turn and a throw to first. Close play when he got back. Nixon had to dive to get back in.
Looked like Wendell almost caught Nixon flat-footed that time. Just barely fell into the bag in time.
Braves trying to win the clincher. The Mets are trying to get back to Atlanta.
Look at a replay. Nixon actually took a step towards second, and that's why it was so tough.
Now the pitch hit foul. That goes back into the crowd. No play. And Turk Wendell with a 2-strike count on Chipper Jones. Now the crowd will rise. And the pitcher gets a 2-strike count on a batter. The full house crowd gets to their feet, offering all the support they can. Keith Lockhart will probably take over at second base since Boone was taken out for a runner. Now the pitch on the way the runner goes. Here's the throw by Mike Piazza. Stolen base. Nixon has stolen second. And the hitter, Chipper Jones, called on strikes.
The right fielder.
It was a check swing, and they checked down at third base, and Chipper was called for having gone around.
So Chipper Jones called out. Now there are 2 men away. There is a runner on second base, and the batter is the cleanup hitter, Brian Jordan. Jordan today has 1 hit and 3 times at bat. In the series, he is 3 for 17. Now Turk Wendell trying to get that very large third out here at the top of the 7th inning. Turk Wendell will check the runner at second base. And the pitch thrown is low inside. Pitching coach Dave Wallace on the telephone talking to the bullpen.
Tough call here whether you pitch to Jordan or Klesko. Jordan the more dangerous hitter, but I guess with Wendell's slider, you'd rather he face the right-hand batter.
If it's Klesko, they'll bring in Dennis Cook, who's getting ready in the bullpen. Now the pitch on the way, a fastball missing. Turk Wendell behind on Brian Jordan, 2 balls and no strikes. Game is tied 2-2. What a nail-biter. We are in the 7th inning. Every game played in this series has been like this one. No room to breathe. Bobby Valentine talking with his pitching coach, Dave Wallace, in the dugout. And now Mike Piazza is going out to the mound to talk to Turk Wendell. Ryan Klesko is the on-deck batter. And, of course, Bobby Cox at times, if they change pitchers, will put up Brian Hunter.
Well, the Mets would take that change in a heartbeat. You'd much rather have Cook against Hunter than Wendell against Klesko.
Klesko is always dangerous with his home run power.
Dave Wallace coming out. Piazza and Wendell having trouble figuring out what to do. They'll bring in the lefty and they'll walk Jordan and pitch to Klesko, I'm sure.
Dave Wallace going to the mound. We'll wait until he sends the sign out. Now the sign is going out. And Dennis Cook will be brought in. Pretty daring move right here by Bobby Valentine, bringing in a left-hander, Dennis Cook. They pitch to Brian Jordan, a right-hand hitter, and less. They're going to put him on the open base at first.
Well, I think that goes without saying. You're not going to bring in Cook to pitch to Jordan at 2-0.
Nope.
They just want the left-hander in to pitch to Klesko, and then it's up to Bobby Cox to figure out whether he wants to let Klesko bat against the left-hander or send up a right-hand hitter.
He might very well put up Brian Hunter. We have seen him do that before.
Or he might want to use Jose Hernandez or Howard Battle because Hunter has really struggled at the plate in this series. So we'll see.
Now Brian Jordan will step in. You know they're going to walk him. And then Ryan Klesko will be due to bat. Mike Piazza holding out his right arm, indicating an intentional walk here to Brian Jordan. So with 2 men away, there will be runners on first and second. Brian Jordan will go down to first base. The runner on second is the pinch runner, Otis Nixon, who stole second after going in as a pinch runner. At the moment, Ryan Klesko is standing on deck. Klesko in the game today has grounded out, reached on a walk, and reached on an error on a ball that was hit hard down to John Olerud.
Charged the walk to Wendell. The walk is charged to Wendell.
That walk will be charged to Turk Wendell because the pitcher took over with a count of 2-0.
That means that if they set up a right-hand batter and you take Cook out of the game and bring in a right-hand hitter, Cook officially will have faced nobody.
Brian Hunter is going to be the pinch hitter.
Let's go number 19, Brian Hunter.
Brian Hunter, who more or less platoons at first base with Ryan Klesko, will be the pinch hitter batting for Klesko. He's a right-hand hitter. Turk Wendell faced only 2 batters. He struck out Chipper Jones, and he'll be charged with that walk to Brian Jordan.
Bobby Valentine coming out to talk to the home plate umpire, Jerry Lane. And I think he might be asking, am I allowed to take Cook out even though that walk was charged to Wendell, because Cook has not officially faced a batter, and I guess the answer he got was that he's allowed to.
And Dave Wallace is pointing to his bullpen as he comes out of the dugout, so apparently it is all right. Bobby wants a right-hander to come in the game. Boy, talk about making moves in postseason play. Oral Hershiser was the pitcher when the top of the 7th began. He retired Gerald Williams. He hit Brett Boone with a pitch. Boone went down to first and was replaced by a pinch runner, Otis Dixon. In came Turk Wendell, who struck out Chipper Jones. That brought up Brian Jordan when the count went to 2-0. Bobby Valentine brought in Dennis Cook. Jordan walked. The walk was charged to Turk Wendell. And Bobby Valentine checked with the umpire to see what's all right to make a pitching change. He did. So Pat Mahomes is on in relief. The batter is Brian Hunter, a right-hand hitter. First and second. Here's the pitch. Taken high. 1 ball and no strikes.
And this works out exactly the way Bobby Valentine wanted it. That's why he brought in Cook in the middle of that at-bat to Jordan, so he could wind up with a right-hander against a right-hander.
And that's what he has right now. Pat Mahomes, who throws hard, is on in relief. The pitch on the way to Brian Hunter. Slider outside low. 2 balls and no strikes. He does not want to issue a walk here. Andrew Jones is now the on-deck hitter. Game is tied 2-2. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Now the runners take a lead. Mahomes getting his sign from Mike Piazza. And the pitch. Too high, ball 3. And Mahomes has fallen behind 3 balls and no strikes. There's no tomorrow for the New York Mets. They have to win or they are through for the season. Now Mahomes is in a precarious spot. Trailing 3-0 and the pitch on the way. Ball 4, he walked him. So you bring in a pitcher, he walks the guy on 4 pitches. Brian Hunter goes down to first base.
Well, you can set it up strategically any way you want, but your players still have to perform, and that's exactly what the Mets did not want out of Pat Mahomes.
Now you get a pretty good hitter in Andrew Jones to the plate. Andrew batting with the bases loaded. Otis Dixon is the lead runner on third. Brian Jordan on second. Brian Hunter is on first. 2 men away. Here's a huge moment in this ball game. The pitch by Mahomes. Call strike in the outside corner. He can no longer afford to walk anybody. A walk would force in the lead run for the Atlanta Braves. The game is tied 2-2. Otis Dixon, the lead runner at third. And the pitch by Mahomes misses high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mahomes was so good as a long man in the bullpen through most of the year. He has not had the same success when called on in later innings.
Pitched in game 1 of this series, gave up a home run to Eddie Perez.
Now the count is 1-1 on the right-hand hitter, Andrew Jones. 3 runners have a short lead. The pitch by Mahomes, low, ball 2. He falls behind 2 balls and a strike. He has no room to work. He has to throw strikes. Otis Dixon leads down the line from third base. 2 men away. Now the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. That looked like it might have been out of the strike zone. But the count is even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And everybody will be standing, making all the noise that they can, trying to help Pat Mahomes get the third out. Andrew Jones, the hitter. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3 men on base, 2 down. Here's the pitch. High pop fly. Should retire this side. Ricky Henderson is under it, fairly deep left field, waiting, and he makes the catch. The inning is over. So Mahomes gets Andrew Jones on a fly ball to left field. The inning is over. No runs, no hits, 3 men left on base. After 6.5 innings, the score, the Mets 2 and the Braves 2.
In the first 4 games of this series, 3 of the 4 were decided by 1 run, and the other was decided by 2 runs. And so we come to the bottom of the 9th inning when the Mets and Braves locked in a 2-2 tie. The Mets trying to push it to a Game 6 in Atlanta on Tuesday night. The Braves trying to hold off the Mets here in the bottom of the 9th, force extra innings, and perhaps clinch this series and a spot in their 5th World Series in the 90s. Melvin Mora will lead off the last of the 9th inning against left-hander Terry Mulholland, who begins his 2nd inning of work, and everybody is standing here at Shea. The pitch to Mora, and a call strike on the inside edge, 0-1. John Olerud led off the 8th inning with a base hit off Mulholland, but Piazza struck out, and Ventura bounced into a double play. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Melvin, swing and a miss, 0-2, and Benny Agbayani has come out on deck. Agbayani set to hit for Darrell Hamilton to give the Mets a right-handed bat against Terry Mulholland. There is a right-hander up in the Atlanta bullpen. Now Mora finds himself in a 2-strike hole. Melvin 1 for 3 in this game, 4 for 9 in the series, including a home run. Light rain falling here at Shea. As we said a moment ago, I don't think there are too many people who are noticing right now. What a ball game this has been. Right on the edge all the way through. The 0-2 to Mora. Blooped foul down the right field side. That'll go out of play. Mets took a 2-0 lead in the first inning on John Olerud's second home run in 2 days. But Greg Maddux settled in from there and held the Mets at bay. Mets had their best scoring chance in the 6th when they loaded the bases with 1 out, but Ray Ordonez grounded into a double play. And now Mulholland trying to keep the Mets at bay. The 0-2 pitch, and a curveball misses high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Mora. Meanwhile, the Braves have had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and the Mets bullpen has pitched 6 scoreless innings to hold them down. Mulholland's 1-2 to Mora. Swinging a ground ball toward third, a foul ball. Outside the bag, grabbed by Chipper Jones. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Mora has been a revelation in this series. A guy who spent a good portion of the year in the minor leagues and who played in 66 games for the Mets, getting only 31 at-bats, used mostly as a defensive replacement and a pinch runner. Now he's started 2 games in this series and has had an impact on virtually every one. The 1-2 pitch hit foul straight back, and Mora hanging in there at 1-2. Mora getting the call today because Roger Cedeno is laid up with back spasms, and that shortens the Mets bench. Bobby Valentine has used 6 pitchers, but he has not used anybody off his bench today, so he's got the full complement of the dugout. Benny Agbayani out on deck to be his first pinch hitter of the day. The 1-2 to Mora, swinging a ground ball foul outside third, down past Bruce Benedict. And Mora with a tough time at bat here. He's already seen 7 pitches from Terry Mulholland, a pitcher whom he is facing for the first time. Mulholland making his first appearance of the series. He's a guy who can pitch virtually every day. Mulholland staring into Eddie Perez and takes too long, and so Mora steps out. Mulholland functioned as the 5th starter coming down the stretch for the Braves, and when necessary, came out of the bullpen between starts. That's the kind of pitcher he is. Now the left-hander winds. 1-2 to Mora. Hit in the air foul down the right field side, and Mora has fouled off yet another one. That's 5 now that he's wasted away since the count got to 2 strikes. And Melvin's at bat continues. Anytime you can keep fouling those pitches away, get your timing a little bit better against a pitcher you haven't seen before, you're that much to the better. However, Mora remains behind in the count, 1-2, so he's got to protect. Mulholland deals. Swing and a miss. He got him. He came inside and fanned Melvin Mora. Second strikeout for Terry Mulholland. So 1 down in the last of the 9th. And here comes Benny Agbayani batting for Darrell Hamilton.
Pitching for the Mets, number 50, Benny Agbayani.
If we were to go to the 10th inning, Melvin Mora would probably move over and play center field, and they put Agbayani in right. Benny has the ability to end this game with 1 swing. However, Benny has not been a very good pinch hitter, either regular season or postseason. 3 for 22. And he takes a fastball for a call strike, 0-1. Benny appeared as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning last night and was struck out by Mike Remlinger. Mulholland out of the windup. The 0-1 to Agbayani. Hit off the end of the bat down to first. Grabbed by Hunter. He'll make the play himself. Running to the bag to retire Agbayani. 2 men down. So 2 up and 2 set aside by Mulholland in the bottom of the 9th. And Ray Ordonez will be the batter for New York. And unless Ray can find a way to plate himself, we are going to be going to extra innings.
Terry Mulholland is really tough to hit. He really helped the Atlanta Braves a lot down the stretch.
Bobby Bonilla has come out on deck. Bonilla would bat for John Franco if Ordonez can keep the inning alive. Bonilla would be coming up as a right-handed batter. The pitch to Ordonez, swinging a bouncer towards short, charging is Weiss. He's got it from the grass, throws to first in time, and we are going to extra innings. The Mets go quietly in the 9th, 1-2-3 before Mulholland. 9 in the books at Shea in Game 5. Mets 2, Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Here at Shea Stadium, with the Mets season again on the brink, they will play some bonus cantos. Mets won a 10-inning game in the first round of the playoffs against the Arizona Diamondbacks to clinch that series. And we go to the 10th here today. The Mets have yet another pitcher in the game. They've made some other changes as well. And Bob Murphy will fill you in.
Armando Benitez is on to pitch again. Armando's been pitching in every game of the postseason.
Now playing
Melvin Mora will move to center field. Benny Agbayani will be playing right field. And Eddie Perez will be leading off as we go to the 10th inning.
Eddie Perez.
Armando has been absolutely sensational in postseason play. Armando last night came on and got the side out, 1-2-3. The final out was Keith Lockhart, who took a call third strike as Armando Benitez nailed down the victory. Eddie Perez hitting 7th in the order, standing in against Armando Benitez. Mets are kind of getting into territory now that they're using Armando. Foul ball back, no play. They'll need to get a run fairly soon and win this ball game.
Well, they did not double switch Benitez into the game. That means he's due to lead off in the bottom of the 10th inning. And with all the work he's had, it may be that Bobby figures he can only get one inning out of Benitez.
Could be. Light rain is falling now. We are now in the 10th inning, and a line drive hit into short left field. It may drop. It does, a base hit. Eddie Perez has still another base hit. A soft single landing in short left field. For Perez, his second hit of the game. He now has 8 hits in the series. He dropped that one in front of Ricky Henderson.
And I would assume they would pinch run for Eddie Perez as poorly as he is running right now.
And we will get a pinch runner. Howard Battle, I think, will be the pinch runner.
Pinch running for the Braves, number 9, Howard Battle.
Howard Battle is the pinch runner.
Braves can afford to do that. They're carrying 3 catchers. They've got Greg Myers or George Fabregas, who can catch in the bottom of the 10th.
Now the hitter is the shortstop, Walt Weiss. Walt had a double his last time at bat, 1 hit and 3 times at bat with a walk.
I mean, you certainly expect the bunt here.
Base hits are now even in this game. Each team has 8. Mets are playing for the bunt. Ventura in on the grass at third. Bunted, foul up the third baseline, no play. So that is bunted, foul, and out of play.
Armando Benitez, a high fastball pitcher, probably the toughest pitcher in the world to bunt.
Yeah, it's impossible almost to bunt it. He throws at 97, sometimes 98 miles an hour, and you have to try and bunt it. Tough to do. Ozzie Guillen has come out on deck. So Guillen will be hitting for the pitcher. And the pitcher is Terry Mulholland. Now Benitez looking in to get his sign from Mike Piazza. The game is tied at 2. We're now in the 10th inning. This game has been tied since the 4th inning. Mets had the early lead. Olerud hit a 2-run homer in the 1st inning. Braves tied the game by scoring twice in the 4th inning. And the pitch on the way, bunted on and missed. That's a strike on Walt Weiss.
That's about as awkward looking a bunt attempt as you're going to see. He was expecting fastball, got a slider, and he got all tied in knots.
Now Benitez has a new ball to work with. A 2-strike count on Walt Weiss. The veteran shortstop, Ozzie Guillen, who had the ball go off the tip of his fingers last night, the decisive play of the game, is out on deck to be a pinch hitter. So Armando, who's been pitching every day, into the stretch now. And the pitch on the way. That's high outside.
When Eddie Perez got that base hit a moment ago, it snapped a string of 14 consecutive batters retired by Benitez going back to the series against Arizona.
Armando has appeared in 4 of the 5 LCS games. This is his 4th appearance. So he's out there just about every night. 1-2 the count on Weiss. He bunts the ball foul down the first baseline, strike 3. So Weiss trying to bunt the third strike, bunts it foul, strike 3. And we pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Jets lose to the Colts 16-13, drop to 1-5. Rangers lead Atlanta 1-0 in the first period. Yankees and Red Sox coming up after Mets Extra on WFAN New York.
Bob Murphy with Gary Cohen. We're playing in the 10th inning, and Ozzie Guillen is the pinch hitter.
2 strikeouts.
3 shortstops, Ozzie Guillen, Jose Hernandez, and, of course, Walt Weiss. So a runner on first and 1 man down. Let's see if Ozzie Guillen tries to bunt him over. Nope, he's ready to swing away. It's outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Ian had quite a career with the Chicago White Sox. Their everyday star shortstop for a lot of seasons. Braves are trying to clinch, and the Mets are trying to extend their season by winning and going on to Atlanta. Towering pop-up near home plate. Mike Piazza is looking for it, coming back toward the backstop, makes the catch. Good job by Mike Piazza. That thing could have been hit in a silo. It was hit a mile high. So Guillen has been retired. And we go to the top of the batting order now for Gerald Williams, the left fielder. Williams has one hit in 4 times at bat and an intentional walk. Bobby Valentine has used the intentional walk very effectively in this game. Now Gerald Williams, the hitter, with 2 men away and a runner on first base. The runner is a pinch runner, Howard Battle. He runs for Eddie Perez. Now Armando Benitez looking into Mike Piazza. Let's see if they have any idea about Battle trying to steal second. Look out, up and in. 1 ball and no strikes. The Braves 2 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors. The Mets 2 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. The big, hard-throwing right-hander, Armando Benitez. Now, around with the arm. There goes the runner. Here's the throw to second base. Not in time. Stolen base for Howard Battle. So they did have an idea about him stealing second. Now the lead run is on second base. The count on the hitter is 1 ball and 1 strike. The hitter is Gerald Williams, the left fielder. Williams has 4 hits in the series. 1 ball and 1 strike. Benitez a glance to second. And the pitch on the way. Towering pop of a foul ball behind home plate, probably out of play. Back comes Piazza, but it lands on the screen. There's no play. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boy, what a grueling ball game this has turned out to be. It has been so close the entire way. One ball, 2 strikes. Mets had a 2-0 lead. The Braves tied the game in the 4th. It's been 2-2 ever since. Benitez glances back to second base. And the pitch on the way. Ground ball hit right at Alfonso. He's got it. Throws to first. The inning is over. Good job by Armando Benitez. No runs, a base hit, and a man left on. In the middle of the 10th inning at Shea, it remains the Mets 2, the Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Well, we go to the 11th inning here at Shea Stadium, and this game is still deadlocked. 2-2. A couple of changes made for the New York Mets, and Gary Cohen will tell you about it.
Okay, Bob, the Mets have a new outfield configuration. Sean Dunston, who pinch hit, stays in the game at center field. Melvin Mora, who was in center field, moves back to right field, where he had been before. And Benny Agbayani, who was in right field, moves to left. And on the pitch for New York is left-hander Kenny Rogers. Rogers will be making his first relief appearance of the year. He was the Game 2 starter for the Mets and pitched 5 terrific innings in Atlanta. Used a couple of double plays and a couple of pickoffs to keep himself out of trouble. But then in the 6th inning, he gave up a pair of 2-run homers to Brian Jordan and Eddie Perez and wound up the losing pitcher in that Game 2 start. Kenny Rogers is 34 years of age. It's been a long time since he's been a relief pitcher. His last significant relief experience came with the Yankees in 1997. Early in his career, of course, Rogers was strictly a reliever, pitching for the Texas Rangers. Didn't become a full-time starter till 1993. So Rogers comes on to pitch. They'll face Keith Lockhart, Chipper Jones, and Brian Jordan, 2, 3, and 4 in the Atlanta batting order. The Mets have now used 8 pitchers in the game. Masato Yoshi started it. Yoshi lasted 3 innings plus. Oral Hershiser was fabulous in relief, 3 1/3 scoreless innings. Wendell, Cook, Mahomes, Franco, and Benitez followed. And now Rogers pitching in the 11th. Keith Lockhart leads off, left-hander against left-hander, and he takes the pitch for a strike, 0-1. Lockhart came on to play second base after Brett Boone left for a pinch runner. Lockhart has batted once and grounded out. That was against John Franco in the 8th. The 0-1 pitch, lashed foul back into the crowd, and a 2-strike count on Keith Lockhart.
One thing about it, if Rogers is in a good groove and pitching well, he can stay out there a long time for you.
Well, managers will always say in a long game when you use a lot of pitchers, you save your innings guy for last, the guy who can go deep into the night if you play a long extra inning ball game. And who knows, we might have one of those here tonight. 2-2, we're now in the 11th. What a game this has been. People have been standing or at the edge of their seats throughout it. The 0-2 to Lockhart, swinging a foul straight back, 0-2. Mets bullpen has been spectacular. 7 innings of shutout baseball after Yoshi got touched up for a couple of runs in the 4th. They've had lots of jams to work out of. The Braves have left 14 runners on base. Now Rogers kicks out of the windup. The 0-2 pitch, curveball swing and a miss. He got him. Rogers with that great slow curve strikes out Keith Lockhart. One man down in the 11th inning. It'll bring up Chipper Jones. Rogers, by the way, is hitting in the number 1 spot of the batting order with Ricky Henderson having come out of the game. When we go to the bottom of the 11th, the Mets are going to have the heart of the batting order coming up, as they did in the 8th. Olerud, Piazza, and Ventura. Mets have done no hitting over the last few innings. Here's Chipper Jones. Chipper 1 for 4 with a walk. Has struck out his last 2 times up, batting right-handed, and he drives one in the air to center field. That's a base hit. Played on a hop by Sean Dunston and back in. And Chipper Jones has his second hit of the night. Hit number 9 for Atlanta. A 1-out single in the top of the 11th. So now Kenny Rogers has to deal with a base runner. And Chipper Jones has to deal with the pickoff move of Kenny Rogers. Remember that Rogers in game number 2 picked 2 runners off first base. He got Gerald Williams in the first inning and Andrew Jones in the second inning. It got so bad that Andrew Jones, a subsequent time on base, didn't bother taking a lead. He kept a foot anchored to the bag. He was so afraid of Kenny Rogers' pickoff move.
He looked like he was running track.
Ryan Jordan 2 for 4, a walk and a run batted in. The pitch to him, low and away, 1 ball, no strikes. 8 pitchers used by Bobby Valentine as he has pulled out all the stops, trying to keep this game intact and give the Mets a chance to play again on Tuesday night in Atlanta in a Game 6. The infield at double play depth, the 1-0 to Jordan, and a high pop foul off to the right out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jordan. In the Mets bullpen, Octavio Dotel begins to loosen up. Mets have 3 pitchers left on their staff who have not been in this game. Dotel, Leiter, and Reed. That's it. Everybody else has pitched. The outfield deep and around toward left against Jordan, who has 2 home runs in this series. And a throw to first, and Chipper back in standing. Chipper Jones had 25 stolen bases during the regular season, but Kenny Rogers is an awfully tough pitcher to run on. Howard Battle stole a base against Armando Benitez in the 10th, but it is awfully hard to run when Rogers is pitching. Also, the track is getting a little bit wetter as this light rain continues to fall. The 1-1 pitch, fastball, a little bit inside, and now Rogers 2-1 on Jordan with Brian Hunter now standing on deck. Hunter, the right-hand batting part of the first base platoon, who came on for Ryan Klesko back in the 7th inning. Rogers staring into Piazza. Olerud holding against Chipper Jones at first, and a throw to first, and Chipper back in easily. If we have a Game 6, it'll be Tuesday night in Atlanta at 8:12 p.m. Kevin Millwood will be on the mound in Game 6 for Atlanta, and it would probably be Al Leiter pitching on 3 days rest going for the Mets. But the Mets have got to earn it first. Oh boy, they have worked so hard to earn it here today and into this evening. The 2-1 to Jordan, ground ball foul outside third, down past Ned Yost, the Braves third base coach. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brian Jordan now has 11 runs batted in 9 postseason games. He hasn't had a lot of hits, but he has had all the big hits for the Atlanta Braves. He had 115 RBIs in the regular season. That was more than Chipper Jones, and that was playing half the season with a bad hand. Chipper leads from first. Rogers is set. The 2-2 pitch, curveball bounced foul up the third baseline, and Jordan hangs in there at 2-2. Rogers again going to that slow hook when he gets to 2 strikes, and Jordan just was able to top it foul. The Braves 2 runs and 9 hits. The Mets 2 runs and 8 hits. We're in the 11th. Has anybody sat down for the last 6 innings? Rogers is set. 2-2 to Jordan. Curveball bounced toward third. Ventura waits on the hop. Hesitates. Throws to second. And he barely gets the force play. For the second straight time after fielding a ground ball, Robin Ventura double clutched. They had something to do with the wet ball, but in any event, he was able to get the force on Chipper Jones. Robin gave ground on that ground ball, and he probably would not have had a chance at a double play anyway, even had he made a quick throw.
That was a very close play at second base because he double clutched.
So now 2 out of the inning. Jordan at first, and Brian Hunter up for the 3rd time. He has walked and popped to short 0 for 1. Right-hand batter. Rogers delivers. And a sinker low outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Andrew Jones now stands on deck. Every pitch thrown by a Met in this game has had such incredible import. Any pitch could just about end their season. The 1-0 and a high fly ball deep right center field. Back goes Mora. Mora to the track. He has room, and Mora makes the catch. Brian Hunter gave it a ride to distant right center field, but Mora went back to get it, and Rogers gets through the top of the 11th. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. 10.5 completed Shea. Mets 2, Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
31-year-old right-hander Russ Springer is on to pitch now for the Atlanta Braves. 2 scoreless innings by Mike Remlinger. He allowed no runs and 1 hit.
Now pitching for the Atlanta Braves.
Russ Springer is a journeyman right-hander who has been around a long time and pitched well for the Atlanta Braves. He was in 49 games, won 2 and lost 1 with a .342 earned run average. 47 innings, only 31 hits allowed. So Springer is now the 4th Atlanta pitcher. Greg Maddux went 7 superb innings. Terry Mulholland 2 scoreless innings. Mike Remlinger 2 scoreless innings. What a battle of the bullpens this has been, Gary.
First appearance for Springer in this series. He worked in 1 inning in the division series against Houston, allowed 2 hits. But it has seemed as though Bobby Cox was very reluctant to get Springer into a game in this series, but now, unless he goes to John Rocker, which he doesn't want to do until he gets a lead, he's going to have to do exactly that and go with Springer.
And the Mets will have to get some hitting from the bottom of their order if they're going to finally break through and get a run. The Mets scored both of their runs in the first inning on a 2-run homer by John Olerud. The Braves scored twice in the 4th inning and tied the game up. Neither team has scored since then. What an amazing succession of scoreless innings. So now Benny Agbayani leads off the home 12th inning. Agbayani has batted only once and he is 0 for 1. So it'll be Agbayani, Ray Ordonez, and Sean Dunston. Swing and a foul ball back on the screen. No play. Right now the pitcher, Kenny Rogers, is batting in the leadoff spot of the order. Previously occupied by Ricky Henderson. Russ Springer, the big right-hander, checks the runners. Now the pitch. And that's too high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody on and nobody out. 2-2. Last half of the 12th inning. The Mets have to win or their season is over. If they win, they go to Atlanta and play Tuesday night. 1-1 pitch. Too high and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Mets would love to get Agbayani on base so that Ray Ordonez could bunt him over for Sean Dunston. Dunston hitting at the number 9 spot in the batting order. Each team has 2 runs and 9 hits. High and away, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, it really helps the Mets here in the 12th inning. They still have their best pinch hitter, Matt Franco, sitting in the dugout. So if you get to that pitcher spot, you can use Franco against the right-hander.
But if you bring up Franco, they probably bring in John Rocker.
Which I think would be fine for Bobby Valentine. He'd love to have Cox waste Rocker in that spot.
Yes, he would. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, he's on base. So the winning run is on base, nobody out. Russ Springer has walked Benny Agbayani. And now Ray Ordonez will be coming up. Chipper Jones already moving in on the grass, looking for the bunt. Ordonez looking down to third to check with third base coach Bruce Benedict.
Well, Ray is generally a very good bunter, but when called upon yesterday in the 8th inning, he popped up trying to bunt. Turned out the Mets bailed him out.
Ray has gone 0 for 4 in the ball game today. He has only one hit in 18 times at bat of this series. And a throw to first is not in time. Brian Hunter holding against Benny Agbayani. Agbayani runs pretty well. And the pitch by Russ Springer. He squares the bunt, pops it up. Easy play. Catch made by Greg Myers, so Ordonez fails to move the runner. He popped the ball up to the catcher.
Well, for a guy who had 11 sacrifice bunts during the regular season, Ray has looked just awful trying to bunt runners up the last 2 nights.
Now it's up to Sean Dunston to try and keep the inning moving. Sean has batted only one time. That was in the 10th inning, and he was struck out by Mike Rimlinger.
That was a high fastball out of the strike zone that Ordonez tried to bunt.
In the top of the 2nd inning at Fenway Park, the Yankees lead the Red Sox 1-0 on a Darryl Strawberry home run. Strawberry strikes in postseason. Yankees have the early lead at Fenway Park, 1-0. The hitter is Sean Dunston facing this veteran right-hander, Russ Springer. He is the 4th pitcher used by Bobby Cox. And the pitch on the way, towering a pop-up on the infield. Backpedaling, getting under it is Chipper Jones. He's waiting, makes the catch. So Dunston has popped the ball up. Now there are 2 men away. That's desperately in need of a long hit. And Bobby Bonilla is coming up to pinch hit.
Matt Franco had come out in the on-deck circle, but as soon as that ball was popped up, Franco was called back and Bonilla sent up instead.
Bobby Bonilla has the power to hit one over the wall. So Kenny Rogers is out of the game now. Bonilla will be hitting for Kenny Rogers.
Octavio Dotel is up in the bullpen. He, Leiter, and Reed are the last pitchers left on the staff.
When Dotel comes in, if he does, he will be the 9th pitcher used in this game by manager Bobby Valentine. The 9th pitcher. Now here's Bonilla. Bobby has nothing so far in this series. He would love to get a hold of one here. And you think the Mets wouldn't love it? You bet they'd love it. Throw to first. He is not in time. Bobby Bonilla has only one official time at bat. He is 0 for 1. Dotel is throwing in the bullpen. We're playing in the last half of the 12th inning. This game started about 10 after 4 this afternoon. Russ Springer turns, throws over to first base. So Springer, after walking Benny Agbayani, the leadoff batter of the inning, retired Ordonez, who popped the ball up trying to bunt, and then got Sean Dunston to pop the ball up to Chipper Jones. Bonilla batting left-handed. Fastball taken for a call strike. Bobby got a World Series ring playing for the Florida Marlins in '97. Had a home run in that series. Bobby with real good power. Throw to first by Russ Springer, not in time. If Bobby Bowe could get a hold of one right here, the Mets would go to Atlanta, Georgia for Game 6 on Tuesday night. Now waiting on a pitch. Bonilla has a bat cocked, swing, and a miss. Good breaking ball, a slider low inside, and now he has a 2-strike advantage pitching to Bobby Bonilla. Bobby Valentine wanting Bonilla up there now, looking for power. Trying to bring Benny Agbayani all the way around from first base. Mets have not scored since the first inning of this game. A 2-strike count on Bobby Bonilla, and the pitch. Pitch out, nothing was going. Agbayani was not running. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brian Hunter, Keith Lockhart, Walt Weiss, and Chipper Jones on the infield for the Braves. Their outfield has stayed intact throughout the game. Williams at left, Andrew Jones at center, Brian Jordan in right. The pitch. High and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. What a battle this has turned into. Every game has been the same in this series. Scores have been 4-2, 4-3, 1-0. The 2-2 pitch. Foul ball. That's back upstairs and into the crowd.
By the way, the Mets have already set a league championship series record by using 8 pitchers, and unless Bonilla can get something done now, they'll extend that record. Nobody else had ever used more than 7.
Yeah, Dotel will be number 9 if he comes into this game. And he will come into this game unless the Mets can score here in the home 12th inning. Count is 2-2 on Bobby Bonilla. Russ Springer, a right-hander, delivers. Swing and a foul tip. Oh, he just barely stayed alive. Just barely ticked that. So the count holds at 2-2 on Bobby Bo. Bonilla, a power performer in his second stint with the New York Mets. He has played virtually not at all season long because of injuries. Long game for the plate umpire, Jerry Lane. He has worked the game quite well. Count 2-2 on Bobby Bonilla. And the pitch. Foul ball straight back. That's toward the press box. No play. The Braves are going to travel one way or the other after this game is over. They'll go home to Atlanta. Should the Mets go back to Atlanta, they will travel tomorrow.
The way this game is going, it might not end till tomorrow.
I'm afraid you're right, my friend. 2-2 to Bobby Bonilla. Veteran right-hander Russ Springer in the set position. Now the pitch. Swing out of his, struck him out. Bonilla goes down swinging, and the 12th inning is history. No runs, no hits, and a man left on. At the end of 12 at Shea Stadium, it remains the Mets 2 and the Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. We'll be going now to the 13th inning. Mets scored twice in the first inning on Olerud's 2-run homer. Braves scored twice in the 4th inning. Runs were driven in by Chipper Jones and Brian Jordan and Gary Cohen. Since the 4th inning, we haven't seen a run score.
Indeed. Mets have had 9 scoreless innings out of their bullpen, starting with Oral Hershiser, Turk Wendell, Dennis Cook, Pat Mahomes, John Franco, Armando Benitez, and even Kenny Rogers pitching in with 2 scoreless innings. And now, as we go to the 13th inning, Octavio Dotel will take over the pitching. The record-setting 9th pitcher used by the Mets in this game as they try and stave off elimination. The pitcher, Russ Springer, is due to lead off, and Bobby Cox will use his last position player, left-hand batting catcher George Fabregas, who played last year for the Mets. So Fabregas will bat for Springer. He'll be followed by Gerald Williams and Keith Lockhart here in the top of the 13th inning. The Braves have already played a 12-inning game in postseason this year. That scintillating game against the Astros, which Walt Weiss saved in the 10th, and Brian Jordan won in the 12th. Now we play into the 13th. The Mets, of course, have played the longest postseason game ever. That was their 16-inning affair against the Houston Astros in Game 6 back in 1986. Dotel pitching for the first time in this series. He pitched in 1 game in Arizona and did not fare well. The pitch coming to Fabregas, and a fastball led her high for a strike, 0-1. And it is essential for Dotel, who sometimes has wildness problems early on, that he throws strikes from the get-go here in the 13th inning.
He may be a little rusty with that control. He hasn't been working very much.
He worked in Game 2 in Arizona. That is now 10 days ago. The 0-1 pitch fouled straight back by Fabregas, 0-2. And in that game, he faced 5 batters and retired only 1. Gave up a hit, couple of walks, hit a batter. He was very much out of sync in that first postseason appearance at Bank One Ballpark. Maybe with that out of his system, though, Dotel will better adapt to the pressures of the spot he's in right now. The 0-2 pitch to Fabregas. Curveball misses inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fabregas appearing for the first time in this series. And for that matter, for the first time this postseason. Fabregas spent most of the year Here's the 1-2 pitch from Dotel. Ground ball up the first baseline. A foul ball just outside the bag. And it remains 1-2 on George Fabregas. Fabregas came to the Braves late in the season. He had only 8 at-bats for them after spending most of the year with the Florida Marlins. He hit just .206 with Florida and went 0 for 8 with Atlanta. Fabregas broke his bat on that last swing. He's going back for a new one. So Octavio Dotel called upon to hold the fort. Everybody else has before him. The Braves have stranded 15 base runners in this game. There was a stretch from the 4th inning through the 7th in which the Braves left 9 runners on base in a 4-inning span. They had a great chance in the 6th inning with the bases loaded and 1 out, but Greg Maddux was called upon to try a suicide squeeze with 2 strikes, missed the bunt, and Ryan Klusko was tagged down in the rundown for a strike him out, throw him out, suicide squeeze, missed bunt, double play. You don't see that one very often. 1-2 to Fabregas. The outfield pretty deep and a step toward left. Dotel working off the stretch. 1-2 pitch, blooped foul, third base side. That'll make it into the photo box, out of play. Well, at Fenway Park, Tri O'Leary has singled home a run in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And the Red Sox have tied up the Yankees 1-1. Andy Pettit pitching against Brett Saberhagen at Fenway Park. Red Sox trying to get even in that series. Yankees trying to go up 3-1. That game 4 is always so pivotal. 1-2 to Fabregas, swinging a foul ball straight down. Just barely got a piece of the curve that time. And Fabregas hanging in there at 1 ball and 2 strikes. George Fabregas spent the latter portion of last season with the Mets, coming over in a trade from the Arizona Diamondbacks when the Mets shipped Bernard Gilkey out west. He was in 20 games for the Mets last year, but got to play very little because Mike Piazza was the catcher in front of him. Dotel's 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, he got him. Dotel comes with heat and strikes out George Fabregas. That's the first out of the 13th inning. Met pitchers have now struck out 15 batters in the game. Let's pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets radio network.
The Jets fall to Indianapolis 16-13. Rangers lead Atlanta 3-0 in the second period. Listen to Mike and the Mad Dog weekday afternoons from 1 until 6 on WFAN New York.
Gary Cohen, Bob Murphy with you from Shea Stadium in New York. Top of the 13th inning in Game 5 of the National League Championship Series. Mets and Braves tied 2-2. Gerald Williams, the batter, against Octavio Dotel, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Dotel, the 9th Met pitcher of the day. The only 2 pitchers on the Mets' 11-man staff for this series who have not worked in this game are Rick Reed, who pitched last night, and Al Leiter. The 0-1 to Williams, curveball, swing and a miss, and Dotel out in front, 0-2. Gerald Williams has gone 1 for 5 and a walk in this game. His hit was a double back in the 5th inning. The Mets are going to have their better hitters coming up in the bottom of the 13th. Edgardo Alfonso, John Olerud, and Mike Piazza. And maybe we'll see John Rocker. The 0-2 to Williams, low and inside. It goes to the backstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes. While the Mets have used 9 pitchers, the Braves have used only 4. But keep in mind, the Braves are going with only a 9-man pitching staff for this series. So they don't have as much to go to in the bullpen as the Mets do. But having not used Rocker left, they certainly have that ace in the hole. 1-2 to Gerald Williams with Keith Lockhart on deck. Dotel delivers. Curveball hit sharply to short. Backhand stop by Ordonez. Plenty of time. Throws to first and it gets Williams. 2 men down. So Gerald Williams grounds out to short. He's now 1 for 6. 2 out and nobody on in the top of the 13th. And here's Keith Lockhart. Now Bobby Cox is now out of position players. If he has to use a pinch hitter, he'd probably go to somebody like John Smoltz. In fact, he had Smoltz out on deck in the 12th inning to pinch hit. Had Walt Weiss not grounded into an inning-ending double play. Lockhart came in the game in the 7th inning after Boone left for a pinch runner. Lockhart has gone 0 for 2. Left-hand batter. Dotel deals, and he misses low with the fastball. 1 ball and no strikes. Masato Yoshi started way back when, and he looked great through 3 innings, but got touched up for 2 runs, 3 hits, and a walk in the 4th without retiring a batter, and he drew a quick exit. The 1-0 pitch, golfed foul off to the left out of play by Lockhart, 1-1. At that point, Oral Hershiser came on and started an exceptional string of relief pitching for the Mets in this game. Hershiser came in with first and second and nobody out, retired 3 hitters in a row, striking out a pair, and the Mets bullpen has not allowed a run yet. 9 2/3 innings without one. 1-1 to Lockhart, swing and a miss. And Dotel out in front on Lockhart, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And again, this big crowd, and almost all of them are still here, rises to its feet. It's been a long game. They've been standing in the rain for 4.5 hours. The 1-2 pitch, curveball, line drive to center field. That'll drop in for a base hit. Dunston was playing deep. He charges to get it on the wet grass. And Lockhart aboard with a 2-out single. The Braves' 10th hit of the game. And that will bring Chipper Jones to the plate with the lead run on first base. So after Dotel retired the first two here in the 13th, Lockhart behind in the count, able to drive a single into center field. Chipper Jones has gone 2 for 5 with a walk. He doubled to drive in the first Atlanta run back in the 4th. He singled to center field in the 11th. That came off Kenny Rogers. Jones batting left-handed. Lockhart, the runner at first with 2 down. And Dotel throws to first, and Lockhart back in standing. Keith Lockhart is not a base-stealing threat. He had 5 during the regular season. Very slow track out there. Awfully tough to run right now. The pitch to Chipper Jones hit foul straight back into the Loge section. 0-1 on Larry Wayne Jones. It's been raining since about the 7th inning. And it has not rained hard, but it has rained steadily. And the water is built up. The infield has changed color. It's a much darker tone now. The outfield playing as deep as they can and a few steps toward right against Chipper. The infield swung toward the right. The 0-1, the runner goes on a line drive down the right field line. That's a base hit. Over toward the corner to cut it off is Mora. On his way to third as Lockhart is being waved home. Here's Alfonso's relay throw. He may get him, and Lockhart is out by 20 feet. Tagged out by Piazza, and the inning is over. Third base coach Ned Yost waving Lockhart home, trying to score from first base. Melvin Mora cut it off beautifully before he could get to the warning track. Relayed it to Alfonso, and Alfonso threw it on one hop to Piazza, who tagged out Lockhart coming in standing, and the Braves are turned aside. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left. Middle of the 13th inning at Shea. Mets 2, Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. We are going to the bottom of the 13th inning, and the crowd, which has been in such an emotional frenzy throughout this game, is now tuned to a fever pitch. With Keith Lockhart having been thrown out at the plate trying to score on the double by Chipper Jones, now the crowd even further fueled by the appearance of John Rocker to pitch the bottom of the 13th inning.
Melvin Mora, the youngster, is really making marvelous plays in the outfield. He got the ball quickly to Edgardo Alfonso, and Pazzi made a great throw to Mike Piazza.
And what made that play even tougher for Mora, that grass in the outfield is getting wetter and wetter, and he had to tiptoe across and cut that ball off before it got to the warning track. Ned Yost waved Lockhart home, and Lockhart was out by a mile. Tried to run through Piazza, but Mike tagged him out. Now Edgardo Alfonso, John Olerud, and Mike Piazza due to bat in the bottom of the 13th inning. And John Rocker, who has appeared in every game of this series, comes on again. He blew the save in yesterday's game, giving up the game-winning hit to John Olerud in the 8th inning. Alfonso is 1 for 5 on the night, single to center back in the 5th. 2-2, bottom of the 13th, and everybody's standing and cheering here at Shea. The pitch to Alfonso, and a call strike at the knees, 0-1.
What has he been in now? 15 consecutive postseason games? Counting last year.
He was in all the LCS games last year for the Braves, and all 5 this year, so 11 in a row in the League Championship Series. The 0-1 pitch, ground ball foul outside third, and a 2-strike count on Alfonso. Rocker is the 5th Atlanta pitcher. Greg Maddux went the first 7. Allowed a 2-run homer in the first inning to John Olerud and nothing else. Terry Mulholland, 2 scoreless innings. Mike Rumlinger, 2 scoreless innings. And Russ Springer, after walking the leadoff batter in the 12th, got the next 3 hitters out. And now Rocker on. John Olerud standing on deck. Olerud finally notched one against Rocker in the game last night after going 0 for 9 against him. Alfonso waits the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup. Great pitch by John Rocker. And he fans the first man to face him, Edgardo Alfonso.
First baseman.
1 out and nobody on. And now here's Olerud. John has gone 2 for 5 in the game, including his second home run in 2 days. He hit that off Maddux back in the first inning. In the 11th inning, he came up leading off against Mike Rumlinger, and he hit the ball pretty well to right field, but Brian Jordan was able to move back toward the corner and catch the long fly ball. Left-hander against left-hander. Olerud last night singled off the glove of Ozzie Guillen and into center field to get the tying and winning runs home off Rocker in the 8th inning. Now the left-hander deals to Olerud, and a check swing on a slider. He went around, 0-1. Last night, Olerud drove in all 3 Met runs. Today, Olerud has driven in both Met runs. The Mets were shut out in Game 3. The last time anybody else drove in a run for the Mets, Alfonso had a double to get a run home in Game 2. It's been a long time. Mets have scored only 10 runs in this series.
Rain is still coming down pretty good.
The Braves 2 runs and 11 hits. The Mets 2 runs and 9 hits. We're in the bottom of the 13th inning, and Rocker with too much mud in his spikes, so he goes to the back of the mound to try and rub them against a board provided for that purpose. Mike Piazza, who has had a tough night at the plate, is looming on deck. Wind is turned around. It's blowing from left across toward right, but not too hard. The 0-1 to Olerud, low and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Mets have had only 2 hits in 5 innings against the Atlanta bullpen. In fact, they've had only 1 hit since the 6th inning. Make it 2. The offense has been stagnant late in this game. The outfield playing toward left against Olerud, figuring him not to get around against Rocker. The 1-1 pitch, and a slider misses the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Now remember last night, Ozzie Guillen was playing well over into the hole at shortstop, and that's one of the reasons why he could not run down Olerud's ground ball. Here, Weiss is not playing nearly as far over that way. The outfield, however, is shaded significantly toward left field. Greg Myers doing the catching. Rocker pitches off the stretch, 2-1, and a fly ball in the air to left center field. Cutting across is Andrew Jones with Williams, and Gerald Williams makes the catch right in front of Andrew Jones for the second out. So Olerud is flied out. 2 up and 2 set aside in the home 13th inning. And now here comes Mike Piazza. Mets are looking for a hero right now. Somebody who can put an end to this game with 1 swing of the bat. And Piazza is nominated. Mike is 1 for 5 in this game. Had a single off Maddox back in the 1st inning. Hit the ball hard his last time up, lining out to left field against Remlinger in the 11th. But Mike Piazza in the postseason now has 5 hits in 28 at-bats. Has not hit a home run in the 9 games and has driven in only 1 run. Of course, he missed a couple of those games along the way with a thumb injury against Arizona. And now a ball is thrown onto the field from the stands, and that's just a dumb thing. Some fans threw some stuff at Rocker last night, too. And, you know, it's great to get revved up about your team. It's almost fine to say whatever you want, but just keep the stuff to yourself. There's just no reason to throw anything at anybody. Now Piazza ready to stand in as the rain appears to increase a bit in intensity here at Shea. The outfield playing as deep as they can. The pitch coming to Piazza. Swing and a miss. 0-1. Mike has had a lot of fastballs to swing at tonight, and he has swung through virtually every one. You don't know how much the thumb is hurting. You don't know how much the concussion has taken its toll. Mike is battered, and he's bruised, and he's tired. But boy, would he love to earn himself a day off tomorrow and a trip to Atlanta with 1 swing of the bat right here. 2-2, bottom of the 13th. 2 out and nobody on. Rocker takes the high set, the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a foul ball in and out of the mid of Myers. And a 2-strike count on Mike Piazza. Robin Ventura would be next. Mets have already used 9 pitchers. The Braves have used 5. Bobby Cox has used his entire bench. The Mets still have 4 players left on their bench. 1, Roger Cedeno, probably unavailable with back spasms, but Matt Franco and Todd Pratt are left. Should say they have 3, including Cedeno. Franco's still unused, and so is Pratt, so that gives the Mets a legitimate pinch hitting threat from both sides. 0-2 to Piazza. Rocker deals. And a slider up and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Piazza. Mike pauses outside the batter's box. Taps the big end of the bat against the side of his shoes and then bangs it off the near side of home plate. Rocker, meanwhile, going to the back of the mound. He wants to clear the mud out of his spikes again and grab at the rosin bag. Paid crowd of 55,723, and very few of them have bothered to use their seats for most of the day and evening. They're all standing. Now Rocker brings the hands together. 1-2 to Piazza. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Rocker threw a fastball by him. John Rocker pitches a 1-2-3 inning and fans a pair, and on we go. Nothing across, 13 in the books at Shea. It's the Mets 2, the Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Brian Jordan.
Here is the cleanup batter now. Brian Jordan standing in. Jordan has 2 hits. 2 hits and 5 times at bat. The Braves have 2 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors. The Mets 2 runs, 9 hits and 1 error. Remember, the Mets scored both of their runs in the first inning. They have not scored since. And the pitch by Dotel. Ground ball hit hard, foul down the third baseline, no play. Todd Pratt is now behind the plate. And for Mike Piazza to agree to come out of the game, you know he is really hurting. What a pounding he has been taking. And the pitch on the way is just on the outside corner for a strike call. Eddie Perez, the Atlanta catcher, went out about 4 innings ago. Greg Myers came on to do the catching. And a 2-strike pitch. Low away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dotel gave up 2 hits in the 13th inning, but beautiful defensive work on the part of Melvin Mora. Edgardo Alfonso and Mike Piazza cut down Lockhart at home plate. Foul ball back upstairs. That's out of play. Count holding at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dotel has been a starting pitcher, so if he's effective, he can certainly stay in the game for another 3 or 4 innings if necessary.
I don't think the Mets have a choice but to leave him in the game.
Well, they've used everybody. He's the 9th pitcher Bobby Valentine has used. Swing and a miss. Struck him out with a good-looking fastball. So the cleanup hitter, Brian Jordan, has been struck out.
First baseman.
That's the second strikeout for Octavio Dotel. And the hitter coming up now is Brian Hunter, the first baseman. Brian Hunter is a right-hand batter. This will be his 4th time at bat since he came in the game, replacing Ryan Klesko. He's drawn a walk, otherwise is 0 for 2. He tied up 2-2 since the 4th inning. And a fastball too high, 1 ball and no strikes to Brian Hunter. Hunter has pretty good power if he makes the right contact. Foul ball, that'll be back into the stands, no play. Imagine using 9 pitchers in a ball game. That's what Bobby Valentine has had to do in this ball game. Boy, the Mets, you have to give them a world of credit for being so determined, playing so hard, and fighting so hard against undoubtedly the best pitching staff in baseball. That was a broken bat foul ball going out of play. So the count is 1-1 now on Brian Hunter, the first baseman. Dotel pitching from the stretch. Delivers. Foul ball straight back. And 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. And the Mets, if they're going to win this marathon, at least for now, will have to do it against the hard-throwing left-hander John Rocker, who has been so dominating. They beat Rocker last night, though, on a base hit by John Olerud. Now the 1-2 pitch. Foul ball straight back once again. Boy, the plate umpire has had a long day. Jerry Lane, he obviously has done a good job. We've seen very few arguments at home plate. In '86, the Mets and the Astros had a 16-inning game in the Astrodome. And a breaking ball just outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That is usually considered the best game ever played. Mets finally won the game in 16 innings. Now the 2-2 pitch and a foul ball. He turned on that one. It comes right back upstairs out of play.
Well, we've got a few more innings to catch that game as far as length in terms of innings, but this is already the longest league championship series game in history in terms of time.
You mean it's taken longer than the 16-inning game did?
Yep.
That is interesting. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brian Hunter is the batter, and the pitch on the way just missed outside. Ball 3. Full count now, 3-2. Well, this game started about 4:10 this afternoon. We are now very close to 9 o'clock. The payoff pitch, reached for it, popped it up into short right field. Coming in is the right fielder Mora. He'll be there, makes the catch. 2 men away. Mets have to win or their season is over. The same was true last night when they won a thriller 3-2. They were behind in the 8th inning. They came back in the last half of the 9th inning to win.
The word on Mike Piazza, he left the game with a strained left forearm.
Strained left forearm.
I don't know if he hurt that when he was tagging out Keith Lockhart, perhaps.
That's a possibility, yeah. Lockhart was out by such a margin, he had to try to run over Mike Piazza. And a slider outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes.
For the record, that 16-inning game between the Mets and the Astros went 4 hours and 42 minutes. So we have now outstripped that.
Andrew Jones, the center fielder, is the hitter, looking for his first hit of the ballgame. Andrew hit .275 during the season. Pitched by Dotel. Breaking ball in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. Andrew Jones is 0 for 5 with a sacrifice of the game today. Octavio checks things out. And the pitch on the way too high. A fastball missing. And Dotel goes behind Andrew Jones. 3 balls and no strikes. Greg Myers, the catcher, a left-hand hitter, is the on-deck batter. 2 runs, 11 hits for the Braves. 2 runs, 9 hits for the Mets. Too high, ball 4. He walks him on 4 pitches. We pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Boston leads the Yankees 2-1 in the top of the 4th. The Jets lost to the Colts. The Rangers lead Atlanta 3-0 early in the 3rd. More later on WFAN New York.
Bob Murphy with Gary Cohen, a marathon going here at Shea. Mets are fighting for their lives, trying to stay alive for another day. If they can win this game, they'll fly tomorrow to Atlanta and play the Braves Tuesday night at Turner Field. That would probably be Al Leiter on the mound against Kevin Millwood. Now Dotel with a runner on first base. Very exciting play in the last inning when they had a runner on first. And the pitch on the way is low outside, ball 1. After a single by Lockhart, 2 outs and a runner on first, a double by Chipper Jones down the right field line. Melvin Mora got to it, fired it to Alfonso, and Fonzie threw it home to Piazza. He was out at the plate. Oh, outside and high, ball 2, way outside. Very wild with that last pitch. So Dave Wallace is on his way to the mound.
This is an emergency call right here.
I'll say.
Dotel cannot afford to lose command of the strike zone the way he has the last few pitches. And you wonder whether the wet conditions are getting to him or the import of the moment. But Dave Wallace talking very pointedly to him right now.
This is what you call trying to put out a fire. So Dave Wallace runs out there and has advice to give to Octavio Dotel. The hitter now is the backup catcher, Greg Myers. He reached on a walk in the 12th inning. That's his only time at bat in the ballgame. The game is tied 2-2. We're playing in the 14th inning. And the pitch thrown is over at the knees for a strike call. 2 balls and 1 strike. So whatever Dave Wallace said to Octavio Dotel, it worked for the moment. In center field, Sean Dunston is playing very deep and several strides toward left center field. A turn and a throw to first, not in time. In the outfield, Benny Agbayani is in left, Sean Dunston is in center, and Melvin Mora is playing right field. Count 2-1 on the batter. There goes the runner. And a high foul pop, probably into the crowd. Coming over Ventura for a look. No play. They had the runner going on a hit-and-run play. Myers fouls it off. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Myers is the last catcher. George Fabregas was used as a pinch hitter. And, of course, Eddie Perez, the number 1 catcher, was in the game till the 8th inning. Raining pretty hard right now. That field has to be getting awfully heavy. 2-2 the count on the batter, Greg Myers. 2 outs as Octavio Dotel gets his sign. And a throw to first is not in time. Andrew Jones, who drew the walk, is on first base. This game has been tied since the 4th inning. We're now playing in the 14th. Dotel up in pitching position. And the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Got him on a bad pitch way out of the strike zone. Dotel strikes out Myers. So the inning is over. No runs, no hits, and a man left on. Middle of the 14th inning at Shea. The Mets 2, the Braves 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. In the home 14th inning here at Shea, the Mets will have Robin Ventura, Melvin Mora, and Ben Agbayani coming up to hit against this flame-throwing left-hander John Rocker. Rocker retired the side 1-2-3 and struck out 2 of the 3 in the 13th inning. He's been one of the big rookie stories in all of baseball this year. Not officially a rookie, but his first full season with the Atlanta Braves.
Well, you don't get to see it very often, but in the rain, 5 hours into the game, the fans are up for the 14th inning stretch.
I don't really want to see that all too often.
Well, let's just hope we don't see the 21st inning stretch later on tonight.
I'll go home and listen to you on the radio.
Meanwhile, the Yankees have tied up the Red Sox 2-2 in the 4th. Tino Martinez, an RBI double, tied it up.
Sounds like an interesting game.
They may be done before we are.
We have played a long time. This game got underway about 4:10 this afternoon. It is now a couple of minutes after 9 o'clock. Rain has been falling for about 2 hours now. And the ground crew keeps coming out inning after inning to spread the diamond dry agent to make it a little better footing. Amazing how many people are still here. Paid crowd of 55,723. I'll bet there's still 40,000 people here at the stadium.
Oh, at least. This is an event now. People aren't going to want to say that they left early in a game like this.
Robin Ventura, it'll be tough for him against this left-hander, John Rocker. Ventura was hitless in 16 times at bat when he delivered a base hit to right center field in the 11th inning. Mets have done very little hitting against the Braves pitching. They have used Greg Maddux for 7 innings, Terry Mulholland 2, Mike Rimlinger 2, Russ Springer 1, and now Rocker is ready to start his 2nd inning of the game.
2 nights ago in Game 3, Bobby Valentine pinch hit for Robin Ventura against Rocker, set up Todd Pratt, but he's not in a position to do that here.
He now has Todd Pratt in the ball game. He's about to run out of pinch hitters.
Well, Mets only have 1 player left on the bench and available, and that's Matt Franco. Roger Cedeno is eligible, but probably not available.
So the Mets have to figure out a way somehow to get a run off this left-hander, John Rocker. You don't like to do it with left-hand hitters, but the Mets have no choice in the matter. Here's the stretch by Rocker. Ground ball hit foul down the first baseline, no play.
Then again, maybe Ventura's hit in the 11th inning off Rumlinger gets him off the schneid, and maybe it gets him pointed in the right direction.
It'd be awfully hard for a left-hand hitter to hit one against John Rocker, but then again, remember John Olerud hit a home run off Randy Johnson when the Mets were playing the Diamondbacks out in Arizona. 1 strike count to Robin Ventura. Melvin Mora will be next. Mora has 1 hit in 5 at-bats in this long ball game. Now Rocker stretching those shoulders out, looking in, getting his sign. And the pitch on the way, up high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Boy, you'll take base runners any way you can possibly get them in a situation like this. Rocker looking through the raindrops. A little bit cool this evening, too. And the rain has been very consistent. It's rained for about 2 hours now. High fly ball hit the center field. It's playable. Moving back, Andrew Jones in deep left center. He'll make the catch. That was well hit by Robin Ventura, but it was playable.
That's progress for Robin. That's the first fair ball he's ever hit off John Rocker.
Well, progress is steady, sometimes slow. 1 out and nobody on, so Melvin Mora comes to bat. And that will be all for John Rocker. Bobby Cox has gone to the mound and is going to make a pitching change. The new pitcher for the Atlanta Braves is a young right-hander, Kevin McGlinchey. Did a very good job pitching for the Braves this year out of their bullpen. He was taken number 5 in the draft just a few years ago. This year he was 7-3, a 2.82 earned run average. In 70 innings, he allowed 66 base hits, and he struck out about 1 per inning. So Kevin McGlinchey, a right-hander. He's tall, he's 6'5", weighs 230 pounds. The hitter is Melvin Mora. And the fastball is over, call strike 1. Kevin McGlinchey is from Malden, Massachusetts. We are playing in the last half of the 14th inning. The rain is still coming down. Here's the pitch. Strike called at the outside corner. So this young man comes in for the bullpen throwing nothing but strikes.
With McGlinchey in the game, that leaves for Bobby Cox on his pitching staff Glavin, Smoltz, Millwood.
And the 2-strike delivery. Check swing, it's too high. Braves are carrying only 9 pitchers in the postseason, while the Mets are carrying 11.
So both managers now have only starting pitchers left.
Let's have a starting pitcher actually pitching right now in Octavio Dotel. 1 out and nobody on. Mets trying to get something going. We're in the last half of the 14th inning. Here's the pitch on the way. That's wide, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kevin McGlinchey worked a total of 70 innings this year. 70 innings, he allowed 66 base hits. So the count now is 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Melvin Mora fanned by Kevin McGlinchey. 2 outs and nobody on. There's just no end to the number of quality pitchers the Braves can send out to the mound. Now Benny Agbayani coming up. Benny will be famous in Honolulu tomorrow if he can hit one out of here.
There have now been 30 strikeouts in this game. Met pitchers have struck out 17. Braves pitchers have struck out 13.
It's been quite a day for pitching at Shea Stadium. Benny Agbayani is the hitter. And that's wide, 1 ball and no strikes. I don't know about you, but my scorecard is about to run out of space.
Yeah, it happens right about this time. Every time we get a long game, all of a sudden you're writing in the margins.
Yes, you are. 1-0 to Benny Agbayani. Total of only 20 hits for both clubs. Now the pitch. That's outside. He throws hard. 2 balls and no strikes. Kevin McGlinchey made all the stops along through the minor league system of the Atlanta Braves. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Ball 3 is high, 3-0. And on deck is Ray Ordonez. Been a tough day for little Ray. He has gone hitless in 5 times at bat. Last time up, he was trying to sacrifice and pop the ball up. 3-0 pitch to Benny Agbayani. Ball 4, it's outside. The winning run is on first base, but there are 2 men away. And Ray Ordonez is coming to bat. Mets would love to make something happen. Sean Dunston, remember, is hitting number 9 in the batting order. The pitcher, Octavio Dotel, is batting leadoff. So if Ray Ordonez can keep it going, it brings up Sean Dunston.
And what happens if Dotel's spot comes up?
I guess you let him go up and hit.
I guess you have to, because otherwise you got to bring Al Leiter into the game if you don't win it here.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And the thing about Leiter is, Leiter has to pitch with his left knee very heavily taped, and he only does that on game days. And I wonder whether somewhere back in the Mets clubhouse right now he's getting that knee tape just in case.
I don't know.
He's got to be the next guy. Reed pitched 7 innings last night.
Here's the pitch on the way to Ray Ordonez. Fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Mets would love for Kevin McGlinchey to have a wildness streak here and walk 2 or 3. Sean Dunston is the on-deck batter. The Mets can get somebody to second base. Dunston might get the job done. 2-2, last half of the 14th inning. Kevin McGlinchey, a tall right-hander, around with the arm. That's too high. 2 balls and no strikes. And so the catcher, Greg Myers, asked for time. Goes to the mound now, trying to settle down his young pitcher.
Well, it's nice to see Ray at least being a little bit patient here. In his first 5 at-bats, Ray Ordonez saw a total of 6 pitches in 5 at-bats. Here, he's at least looked over a couple.
Kevin McGlinchey is just 22 years old. Young right-hander from Malden, Massachusetts. Now the count is 2 balls and no strikes on Ray Ordonez. Ray 0 for 5 in this marathon ball game. He has to be patient here as a hitter, really looking over very carefully. There goes the runner. The pitch is up high. Stolen base. A stolen base for Benny Agbayani. He gets the second, and the pitch was high for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes.
That's a very smart play called by Bobby Valentine. He figured McGlinchey was so intent on throwing a strike, he'd pay the runner no mind, and that's exactly what happened. Benny got an enormous jump.
And he didn't pay much attention to the pitch because it was very high. Now it's 3 balls and no strikes. The winning run is now on second base. Kevin McGlinchey, a young right-hander who had a successful rookie year. Here's the pitch on the way. That's a strike called in the outside corner, 3-1.
And the knee must be taped because Al Leiter is warming up in the bullpen.
Did you believe that?
It's the only choice because if the spot comes up where Dotel has to hit, the Mets have got to set up a pinch hitter and try and win the game.
So who do you pitch Tuesday night if you win in Atlanta?
We'll worry about that when you get there.
That's right. 3-1 pitch. Ground ball slowly hit right side of the infield. Agbayani will cross to third. And the catch is made at first base to retire the side. So the inning is over. The Mets had a chance but couldn't cash it in. Side retired in the 14th. No runs, no hits, and a man left on. Mets have now had 9 left on, but Braves have had 15. At the end of 14 is still tied 2-2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
A few people have now gone home, but the vast majority of the 55,000 plus have made it through 5 hours and 10 odd minutes of baseball. The longest game in terms of time already in League Championship Series history. 2-2 to Weiss. Dotel fires. Line drive over short, falling fast. Base hit in the left field for Walt Weiss, leading off the 15th inning. Agbayani plays it back in. And the Braves get the lead man on, and that works out perfectly for them because now they can have the pitcher, Kevin McGlinchey, try and bunt Weiss to second base. So the Mets have to try and fight off the Braves here in the 15th inning. McGlinchey had only 2 plate appearances this season. He went 0 for 2 without a sacrifice. So a very inexperienced hitter at the plate, rookie right-hander Kevin McGlinchey. He's a right-hand batter. He shows bunt, and time is asked for before Dotel can throw a pitch. There's nobody left on the Atlanta bench other than those 3 starting pitchers. McGlinchey shows bunt. Dotel deals, and he bunts through it. Strike 1. McGlinchey didn't come close to getting the bat on it as he offered. 0-1 on McGlinchey. The leadoff hitter, Gerald Williams, is standing on deck. Now Olerud comes in from first base to make sure Dotel knows the signs on the bunt play. The infield has gotten awfully dark with all the rain we've had over the last 2.5 hours. Weiss leads away from first. McGlinchey shows bunt. Here's the pitch, up and in with a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Mets trying to live for another day. How many times have they faced this situation already this year? 2 games behind in the wild card race with 3 games left to go. They swept the Pirates the final weekend. Won the tiebreaker from the Reds. Staved off elimination yesterday. The 1-1 lays off and the pitch is high. And Dotel now goes 2-1 on McGlinchey, who's trying to give him an out. And given the way McGlinchey has looked so far during this at-bat, you wonder whether he could even get the bunt down. So Dotel absolutely has got to throw the ball over the plate here and let McGlinchey do what he wants with that bunt. Ventura comes in close at third. Olerud set to charge. McGlinchey shows bunt. The pitch, he lays off it, but he bunts straight down. He did not mean to offer it that ball, but it came inside and hit his bat. And it goes straight down into the dirt, a foul ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 22-year-old Kevin McGlinchey thrust into a big situation, both on the mound and now at the plate. Todd Pratt doing the catching for the Mets. Mike Piazza left in the 14th inning with a strained forearm. We're now in the 15th. Weiss at first, nobody out. 2-2 pitch. Inside, ball 3. And now Dotel has gone to a full count on the opposing pitcher who's trying to bunt. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, obviously, if Dotel walks McGlinchey here, he is just asking for it.
Baseball playoff history. Passing to 5 an hour and 13.
This is now the longest game in terms of time in postseason history. There goes Weiss, 3-2 pitch, down the middle, throw to second by Pratt is not in time. Weiss steals second. McGlinchey struck out looking on a 3-2 fastball down the middle, but Weiss steals second base, and now the Braves have the lead run in scoring position with 1 out, and Gerald Williams coming up. How badly did Octavio Dotel want to get that ball over the plate? He threw his fastball at 84 miles an hour. That is about 8 to 10 miles an hour slower than he normally throws it. So now Weiss at second base. The Braves have their second stolen base of the night. And here is Gerald Williams, who has had a 1-for-6 day. 1-for-6 and a walk. He had a double back in the 5th inning. Weiss at second and 1 away. 2-2, top of the 15th. Williams waits at the plate. Dotel delivers. Fastball low outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Keith Lockhart, a left-hand batter, now on deck. Weiss not a burner, but he can score on just about any base hit to the outfield here. And now the Mets assistant trainer, Scott Lawrenson, going to the mound, and he'll bring out an implement for Dotel to use to try and clean out his spikes. It's a wire brush. And Dotel will balance himself on Scott's back as Lawrenson bangs at the mud that's caked up in Octavio Dotel's spikes. A long, wet, thrilling, and ultimately potentially season-ending game here at Shea Stadium.
This is a moment where you can't afford to be slipping and sliding on the mound.
Scott Lawrenson gets a standing ovation, I believe the first of his career, as he comes off the field into the first base dugout.
For knocking the mud out of the spikes of Octavio Dotel.
Hey, on this night, that may be the most important thing anybody's done yet. 1-0 to Gerald Williams. Weiss at second. Dotel fires. Swing and a miss and a high hard one. Dotel had a little more giddy up on that. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Braves tonight have had 15 at-bats with runners in scoring position. They have gone 2 for 15. The Braves have left 16, make it 17 runners on base. Last night, they didn't have a single runner left on base all night in their 3-2 loss.
And that's a League Championship Series record.
The 1-1 to Williams. Swing and a miss and a pitch out away. And now Dotel has a 1-2 advantage on Gerald Williams. Dotel has struck out 4. Met pitchers have struck out 18 Atlanta Braves here tonight. Now Pratt sending out a sign. Dotel brings the hands together. The 1-2 to Williams. Popped foul back upstairs into the mezzanine, out of play. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Gerald Williams. Dotel has already thrown 56 pitches, working in his 3rd inning. Williams waiting patiently. Dotel is ready. The 1-2 pitch and a high fly ball along the right field line. Long run over from Mora right to the stripe into foul ground beyond his reach. It's in the crowd. That ball kept drifting and drifting and drifting, and there's a little breeze blowing from left field in toward the right field line, and it was just enough to make sure that ball went into the stands amongst the umbrellas. And so Gerald Williams gets another chance with the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Mets with an outfield alignment of Benny Agbayani in left, Sean Dunston in center, and Melvin Mora in right. Of the 3, only Mora started the game. Crowd trying to rev it up again. Well, even the crowd sounds tired now. And Williams steps out. Crowd has worked just as hard as the players have. They have been standing for most of the game, screaming their lungs out, batting their hands together, trying to stave off the rain. Weiss leads from second. Dotel's 1-2 pitch. Curveball and a high fly ball to left center field. Playable for Agbayani. Dunston never saw it, but Agbayani is there, and Benny makes the catch. Weiss holds at second base. That ball was hit to left center field, and Sean Dunston never moved an inch. He had no idea where that ball was looking up through the raindrops. but Agbayani was there to make the play. Now there are 2 down in the inning. Weiss still at second. Keith Lockhart will be the batter. Out to the mound goes Dave Wallace to talk about how to pitch to Lockhart. We'll pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets radio network.
Top of the 5th inning at Fenway. The Yankees out in front of Boston 3-2. Third period. Rangers lead Atlanta 3-1. The Jets lost to the Colts. More later on WFAN New York.
Gary Cohen, Bob Murphy with you from Shea Stadium in New York. A classic game in game number 5 of the National League Championship Series. We are in the top of the 15th inning. The Mets and Braves locked in a 2-2 duel in the rain. Braves leading the series 3-1. An Atlanta victory puts them in the World Series for the 5th time in the 90s. A Mets win forces a Game 6 in Atlanta on Tuesday night. The Mets have used 9 pitchers. The Braves have used 6. Octavio Dotel working in his 3rd inning and trying to pitch out of some trouble here in the 15th with Walt Weiss at second and 2 out. Keith Lockhart will be up for the 4th time. Lockhart's first turn at bat came in the 8th inning. He singled to center field in the 13th, tried to score from first on Chipper Jones's double, but was thrown out at the plate from Mora to Alfonso to Piazza. Now a base hit could give the Braves the lead. Weiss leads off second. Ordonez shadowing him. The pitch to Lockhart. Line drive toward right center field. Cutting across is Mora with Dunston. They won't get it. Base hit. Bouncing by Dunston and rolling back to the wall. Weiss has scored. Lockhart around second. He'll go to third. Keith Lockhart with a run-scoring triple in the 15th inning. And the Braves have gone in front 3-2. Sean Dunston trying to tiptoe on that wet outfield grass, got the closest to it over in right center field, but it bounced beyond him and then rolled on by him. Weiss scores from second base, and Keith Lockhart has given the Braves a lead in the 15th inning. And now the Mets will walk Chipper Jones intentionally with Brian Jordan coming up next. So the Mets are now 3 outs away from having the 1999 season come to an end. We're watching as Chipper Jones draws his 2nd intentional walk of the night. This will be the 5th intentional walk that the Mets have granted in this game. Well, Dave Wallace had just gone to the mound to talk with Octavio Dotel about what to do with Keith Lockhart, and you figure they didn't want to give Lockhart, the left-hand batter, anything great to hit, but the first pitch, Lockhart was able to drive into right center field for a 3-base hit. Now Chipper Jones has drawn an intentional walk. 1st and 3rd and 2 down, and Dotel has got to pin it right here to give the Mets a chance in the bottom of the 15th inning.
First run since the 4th inning of the game.
Brian Jordan standing in the batter's box. Jordan has gone 2 for 6. Right-hander against right-hander. Fake to third, throw to first, but Chipper's standing right on the bag. In the bottom of the 15th, the Mets will have Sean Dunston, the pitcher's spot, and Edgardo Alfonso due up against right-hander Kevin McGlinchey, who now stands to be the winning pitcher. The pitch to Jordan, fastball below the knees, 1 ball, no strikes. There does not appear to be anybody warming up at the moment in the Atlanta bullpen, but it looks like that might change in a moment. There's some activity down there. The 1-0 to Jordan, and it misses outside, and now Dotel behind 2-0. Brian Hunter, another right-hand batter on deck. If anybody gets up, you'd figure it would have to be Tom Glavine. Millwood is scheduled to pitch Game 6. Smoltz pitched last night. They could go to Millwood. That's possible. The 2-0 to Jordan, swing and a miss. 2 balls and a strike to Brian Jordan. Octavio Dotel pitching valiantly in his 3rd inning of relief. Finally gives up a run. A leadoff single to Walt Weiss, who stole second. And then after he retired the next 2-hitter, a triple by Keith Lockhart bringing the lead run home. The 2-1 to Jordan, swinging a foul straight back. And Dotel gets even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Braves now with 13 hits in the game, the Mets with 9. The 2-2 to Jordan, lifted foul down the right field line, out of play. And Dotel will pitch again. Keith Lockhart is on third. Chipper Jones at first with 2 down. The outfield deep and around toward left against Jordan, who has 2 home runs in the series. The 2-2, Chipper goes, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Dotel came with high heat his 5th strikeout in 3 innings, but the Braves take the lead. 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 men left on. The middle of the 15th inning at Shea Stadium. The Mets with their season on the line. The Braves 3, the Mets 2 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets!
Well, the Mets, who have had their backs firmly against the wall so many times over the last 3 weeks, now down to their final 3 outs of the season, unless they can rally against rookie right-hander Kevin McGlinchey. McGlinchey came on with 1 out in the 14th inning, struck out Melvin Mora, walked Benny Agbayani, who stole second, and he got Ray Ordonez on a ground out to get through the inning. Then the Braves played it a run with 2 out in the top of the 15th on a run-scoring triple by Keith Lockhart. And now McGlinchey will try and lock it down here in the bottom of the 15th inning, with the Mets trying to keep their season alive yet one more time. Sean Dunston will lead it off. Matt Franco has come out on deck to bat for the pitcher Octavio Dotel. And then Edgardo Alfonso here in the bottom of the 15th. Dunston has batted twice in this game. He's 0 for 2. Right-hander against right-hander, the pitch. Punch foul off to the right out of play. 0-1 to Dunston. Dunston is batting 9th in the order. The pitcher is hitting number 1. The Braves 3 runs and 13 hits. The Mets 2 runs and 9 hits. The Mets have had only 2 hits in the last 8 innings. Chipper Jones playing at the cutout at third and close to the line. Hunter close to the line and deep at first. The 0-1 to Dunston. He shows bunt, but he takes outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Greg Maddux went the first 7 for the Braves. Allowed 2 runs and 7 hits. The Mets only 2 runs coming in the first inning on a 2-run homer by John Olerud. The Mets have not scored for 13 innings. The outfield is stride toward right against Dunston. McGlinchey's 1-1. Again, he shows bunt, takes a slider on the outside corner. And McGlinchey out in front on Dunston now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Terry Mulholland threw 2 scoreless innings. Mike Rumlinger did the same. Russ Springer a scoreless 12th. John Rocker an inning and a third without giving up a hit. And now McGlinchey trying to win it. 1-2 to Dunston. Here's the pitch. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bobby Valentine able to preserve his best pinch hitter, Matt Franco. And Franco is out on deck to bat for Octavio Dotel. If the Mets were to somehow tie this game, they get a 10th pitcher in the game in the 16th inning. And Al Leiter is warming up in the bullpen. 2-2 to Dunston. The outfield is stride toward right. McGlinchey works off the stretch. Now the pitch. Outside, ball 3. So the Mets hoping that they can get Dunston on base and give themselves a chance here in the bottom of the 15th inning, trailing 3-2. Dunston, who has not drawn a walk since joining the New York Mets at the trading deadline, has a 3-2 count. He has drawn only 2 walks the entire season. Both came while he was playing for the Cardinals earlier in the year. Now McGlinchey has his sign from Greg Myers. The 3-2 to Dunston and a high pop foul off to the right out of play. And Sean hangs in there at 3 balls and 2 strikes. It is not Al Leiter throwing in the bullpen. It is Rick Reed throwing in the bullpen. Rick Reed, who threw 7 brilliant innings in the game last night, is up and getting ready in case there's a 16th inning. How about that?
He said that for the game last night. If they need me for an inning, I'll be there.
They may need him for more than an inning.
Oh, the way this thing is going, are you kidding?
3-2 to Dunston. Mets still have to tie this game up. The pitch by McGlinchey, hit foul straight back. Dunston with a long turn at bat, hanging in there. He's seen 7 pitches, and he's still there. Bruce Benedict, the Mets' third base coach, kicking at the bag at third. Boogie Wilson has walked 15 miles on the coaching lines at first tonight. This game started at 10 after 4 in the afternoon. It's now 5.5 hours old. And it's not over yet. Dunston pausing outside the batter's box as a plane flies over. Paid crowd of 55,723, and most are still here. They've been rocking and rolling all night long, now hoping the Mets can yank it out. McGlinchey takes the set. 3-2 to Dunston. Hit foul off to the right out of play. That's 3 in a row now that Dunston has wasted away since the count went 3-2. thing about Sean Dunston, he rarely is up there looking for a walk, but if he were ever looking for a walk, this would be the spot. Sean is not a home run hitter, and if you're not a home run hitter in this kind of a situation, you need to try and get on base any way you can.
Yeah, get that leadoff batter on. That's the big key.
McGlinchey set to go again. The 3-2 to Dunston. Hit foul straight back. And that's 9 pitches now that Dunston has seen from Kevin McGlinchey. And everyone he sees, he gets his timing down a little bit better. Sean rubbing his hands together as he stands outside the batter's box, readjusting the batting gloves, trying to get a firm grip on the bat as the light rain continues to fall. Greg Myers, meanwhile, squatting behind the plate, waiting for Dunston to step in. Now McGlinchey ready. The 3-2 pitch. Drive foul off to the right out of play. And that's 5 in a row now that Dunston has fouled off since the count went 3-2. Sean Dunston, terrific veteran presence for the New York Mets. Now 36 years of age. And he's trying to savor this moment as best he can. Kevin McGlinchey threw 14 pitches in the 14th inning. He's already thrown 10 to his first batter here in the 15th. Franco waiting on deck. The 3-2 pitch. Hit foul again.
You believe this?
6 in a row.
Wow. Even the players in the dugouts are holding their heads like, oh, I don't believe this.
The Mets just will not die easily. If this is their night for the season to come to an end, at least the Mets know they gave it every ounce, every single ounce, to try and keep it alive for one more day, one more time.
As Bobby Valentine likes to say, they are leaving it on the field.
McGlinchey set for the 12th pitch. 3-2 to Dunston. Hit on the ground toward the middle. Base hit into center field, and the Mets are alive. Dunston on the 12th pitch of the at-bat grounds a single to center field, and now the Mets have the tying run on base, and Matt Franco will come to the plate as a pinch hitter. You talk about a veteran at-bat. Sean Dunston just turned in a tremendous effort for the New York Mets, and now the Mets have got a shot. Now let's see. Franco is being called back, and Octavio Dotel is going to bat for himself. And now the home plate umpire, Jerry Lane, is saying that Franco was not announced into the game. Now, the Mets want Dotel to bunt here, and this way they can keep him in the game if we go to the 16th inning. Franco had walked to home plate, and I think he might have actually been announced by the public address, but Jerry Lane says no, he was not in the game. And so Dotel will remain on and bat for himself. And obviously everybody in the building looking for a bunt. And a throw to first, and Dunston dives back to the bag. Now, during the regular season, Octavio Dotel had only 1 sacrifice. And now
Franco's coming up.
Now Franco's coming up, so Bobby Valentine changed his mind twice. Franco came up, Dotel came up to replace him, and now Franco's coming up to replace him. That's very odd.
That is strange, isn't it?
Maybe Bobby remembered that Dotel's not a very good bunter, which he is not. So you might as well go for the win right here. Maybe Franco can hit the ball out of the ballpark and win the game. You don't figure on Franco to be bunting, but let's see. Franco, the last available player on the Mets bench. Edgardo Alfonso on deck. Dunston at first and nobody out. Franco stands in. McGlinchey deals. Swinging a foul ball back off the mask of Greg Myers, and there was no thought of a bunt in Matt Franco's mind there. Franco had 14 pinch hits during the regular season and drew 20 pinch hit walks, a new major league record. He's had only 2 plate appearances in the postseason. He's rarely got to come to bat against the Braves because every time he's been announced, Bobby Cox has brought in a left-hander. He doesn't have that choice here. Everybody's been used. And a throw to first, and Dunston falls back to the bag. 3-2 Atlanta. Mets trying to keep it alive in the bottom of the 15th inning. Matt Franco batting for Octavio Dotel, which means if the Mets tied, Rick Reed would pitch the 16th inning. Now Franco wiping the wet bat against his pant leg. Chipper Jones stays in on the grass at third against the threat of the bunt. The outfield playing toward left and not too deep. Dunston leads from first. McGlinchey's 0-1 pitch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. McGlinchey had to throw 12 pitches to Sean Dunston Dunston finally singled to center field. Leo Mazzoni, the Braves pitching coach, is now jogging out toward the mound to have a word with his young right-hander. Kevin McGlinchey is only 22 years old, but he did a lot of work for the Braves this year. He was in 64 games for them. However, this is only his second appearance in the postseason. He faced one batter against Houston in the division series, and pitching for the first time since then. Got the final 2 outs of the 14th, but he's given up a leadoff single to Sean Dunston here in the 15th, with the Mets down 3-2. Now Mazzoni back in the third base dugout. 1-1 the count to Matt Franco. Little breeze blowing in from center field now against the hitter. Throw to first, not in time. Dunston back to the bag.
Mets have some good hitters coming up and a chance to pull this game out.
Dunston, not the fastest guy in the world, but he runs harder than anybody else. Franco waiting at the plate. The 1-1 pitch outside. McGlinchey's missed badly with the last 2. 2 balls and a strike to Matt Franco. Edgardo Alfonzo, who has had a very tough 3-game stretch, is standing on deck. Fonzie, 1 hit in his last 14 at-bats, but he would love to get a crack at it here. Lockhart and Weiss set up a double play depth. Dunston leads away. McGlinchey set. There goes the runner. The 2-1 pitch fouled off. Hit and run play on 2-1, and Franco fouled it straight down and hit his bat a second time and caromed away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matt Franco. So Dunston, who was on the move, heads on back to first base. Franco got a tough pitch to hit on that hit and run play, a cut fastball in on him. And it was all he could do to make contact and foul it off. 2-2 to Matt Franco. The outfield moves a couple of strides further toward left now, and a throw to first not in time. With 2 strikes on the hitter, Andrew Jones figures it's less likely that Matt Franco is going to pull the ball, and so Andrew has moved a couple more strides toward left center field. Now McGlinchey towing the rubber on the third base side, looking into Greg Myers to get his sign. Franco waits. There goes Dunston. 2-2 pitch outside. Throw to second by Myers. Not in time, and Dunston has stolen second base. A huge stolen base for Sean Dunston, and now the tying run is in scoring position with nobody out, and a 3-2 count on Matt Franco.
Boy, he got a great pitch to run on, and he took advantage of it.
Dunston beat the tag with a head-first slide, and now a base hit could tie it up for New York. Franco steps in. The crowd in a frenzy. McGlinchey looks in. Brings the hands together. 3-2 to Franco. Inside, ball 4. And now the tying and the potential winning runs are on base. A leadoff single for Dunston, who stole second. And now Franco, who set a major league record for pinch hit walks, draws yet another one. And now Edgardo Alfonzo the batter, and we'll see how the Mets decide to play this. If you bunt with Alfonzo, you can move that winning run into scoring position for John Olerud. Keep in mind, though, that behind Olerud is not Mike Piazza, it's Todd Pratt.
And also they'd have an open base. They could walk John Olerud.
Well, that's exactly right. That's why I mentioned Pratt in that spot rather than Piazza. So we'll see how the Mets decide to play this with Alfonzo, who's gone 1 for 6 tonight, 1 for 14 in the last 3 games, and he's been striking out at a fairly alarming rate. Dunston at second, Franco at first, and nobody out. Chipper Jones at the cutout at third, Hunter playing deep at first. The pitch to Alfonzo, he squares and lays off the pitch outside, 1-0. So he was showing bunt on the first pitch. That does not mean that he intends to sacrifice. Certainly he wanted to draw Hunter in at first base. He's now done that. Bruce Benedict flashing signs in the third base coaching box. 3-2 Atlanta, bottom of the 15th. The Mets with a chance. Dunston at second, Franco at first, and nobody out. Alfonzo waits. The 1-0, he squares to bunt, bunts it out in front of the plate. McGlinchey will field. His play will have to go to first in time for the out. And now the Mets have the tying run at third and the winning run at second with one out. John Olerud coming up, and you can be almost certain that they will walk Olerud here to fill the bases and bring up Todd Pratt, who will get yet another chance to be a hero for the New York Mets. 1-4 on that sacrifice, moving the runners up.
This crowd is going to be absolutely worn out when this game is finally over. They have been on their feet for over 5.5 hours.
It may not be over for a while.
It may last for quite a while, yeah.
And Greg Myers sticks out his gloved hand and calls for the intentional walk, so Olerud will get the surefire intentional pass here. And the Mets will have the bases loaded with one out. A fly ball by Todd Pratt will tie the game. A base hit could win it. There's ball 2 outside. Mets have excellent speed, or good speed at least, at third base in Dunston. And average speed at second in Matt Franco, who's faster than you think. There's ball 3 outside to Olerud. And so the tension just building one more time. Bobby Cox not inclined to go to one of his frontline starting pitchers in this spot. He's got the 3-1 lead in this series. So he'll stick with his rookie right-hander Kevin McGlinchey to face Todd Pratt with the bases loaded and one out. Pratt is coming up for the first time in the game. Mike Piazza left with a strained forearm after going 1 for 6 tonight. Pratt hit the home run against the Arizona Diamondbacks a week ago Saturday in Game 4 that put the Mets in this league championship series. And now he has a chance to keep the Mets in the league championship series if he can come through here in the 15th inning. And now we're going to get a pinch runner. Roger Cedeno, who was not supposed to be available because of back spasms. That back must have loosened up enough because Cedeno is running on the field. And he will run for Matt Franco, carrying the winning run at second base. So I don't know if Cedeno was available all along or just went to Bobby Valentine and said, I can run. But Bobby Valentine saving Cedeno for the ultimate moment. Running for Franco, carrying the winning run at second base. What a moment. So Pratt will step in. Dunston at third. Cedeno at second. Olerud at first and one out. The infield at double play depth. Pinched in at the corners. The pitch coming to Todd Pratt. And it misses inside and low. 1 ball, no strikes. A walk, of course, would force home the tying run. 3-2 Atlanta, bottom of the 15th inning. And the Mets simply do not go away. The outfield is stride toward right. Jones at third, Hunter at first at the edge of the grass. They could come home with a ground ball. Lockhart and Weiss are back, looking for 2 by way of second. The 1-0 pitch off the outside corner, 2 balls and no strikes. Behind Pratt is Robin Ventura. Todd tends to be a very aggressive hitter, but he's been patient here. And now he's worked himself a favorable count at 2 balls and no strikes against the rookie right-hander Kevin McGlinchey. Runners laid at all 3 bases. The 2-0 pitch to Pratt. Outside, ball 3. And now Kevin McGlinchey is 1 pitch away from forcing home the tying run. Everybody not only standing now, but jumping up and down in the stadium, starting to shake a little bit. You figure Pratt will take a pitch here, trying to draw that walk and get the game tied. McGlinchey comes set. The 3-0 to Pratt, taking, call strike on the outside corner, 3-1. John Franco waving a towel at the far corner of the Mets dugout, trying to rev up the crowd even more, as if that were possible.
Boy, that rookie responded to tremendous pressure when he threw that strike.
Well, he knew Pratt was taking there. Pratt, this time, has a green light on 3-1. Dunston leads from third. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4. The game is tied. Dunston trots down the line from third to score. A bases-loaded walk to Todd Pratt. And the Mets have tied the game at 3-3. And now the winning run is on third base with only 1 out. And Robin Ventura will try and win it for New York. The third walk of the inning. And now Ventura with a chance to drive the winning run home. The infield will come in. The outfield will come in only as deep as they can throw. Cedeno is the winning run. He's on third base. Olerud at second. Pratt at first with 1 out. 3-3, 15th inning. McGlinchey set. The pitch to Ventura. Low inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Ventura 1 for 6 on the night. He got his first hit in the series, a single to right in the 11th inning. What pressure on Kevin McGlinchey, this rookie right-hander. Mets have tied it in the bottom of the 15th. Now they're trying to win it. Ventura waving the bat back and forth. Cedeno leads from third. The 1-0 pitch, swinging a foul straight back. And it's even on Ventura, 1 ball and 1 strike. If Robin can't get it done, Melvin Mora would be next.
Just a nice, sweet, long outfield fly would take care of it.
The Braves not playing their infield back. You figure they might want to try for 2 against Ventura, but they've got everybody up looking for the play at the plate. Runners lead at all 3 bases. Cedeno the lead man off third. McGlinchey set. 1-1 to Ventura. Outside, nearly a wild pitch. Myers had to strain to reach that one. 2 balls and a strike on McGlinchey. And you kind of get a feeling that the import of the moment is starting to weigh on this rookie right-hander from Massachusetts. Mets trying to send it to Atlanta for Game 6 on Tuesday night. The crowd is roaring. Ventura is waiting. McGlinchey staring in, has his sign. A 2-1 pitch. And a drive in the air to deep right field. That ball headed toward the wall. That ball is out of here! Out of here! A game-winning grand slam home run off the bat of Robin Ventura. Ventura with a grand slam. They're mobbing him before he can get to second base. The Mets have won the ball game. Ventura hit it over the right center field fence. A game-winning grand slam home run. I don't know if they'll let Ventura circle the bases, but it doesn't matter. The Mets have won it. They've won the ball game, and the Mets will send this series to a game number 6 on Tuesday night in Atlanta. Robin Ventura slugged one over the 371 mark in right center field, and the Mets have won the ball game. And if he ever completes his trip around the bases, the final score will be 7-3. Ventura is starting to walk off the field. I don't think that he knows that that ball went over the fence. He still has not gotten to second base. His teammates have mobbed him, and I don't know what the final score of this game is going to be because Ventura is starting to walk off the field, but Cedeno, the winning run, crossed the plate, and that's all that matters. The Mets yank it out in the bottom of the 15th inning as Ventura slugs a grand slam, and the Mets win it. They send it to a Game 6 on Tuesday night in Atlanta, and Bob Murphy, we have just seen one of the classic postseason games of all time.
No doubt about that. This is every bit the ball game that the 16-inning game was when the Mets beat the Houston Astros in 1986. What a moment for Robin Ventura. Ventura had been agonizing in a cold slump. What a way to come out of a slump, although he had come up with a base hit before that. This is a grand slam that sends the Mets to Atlanta and sends a message to all of the Atlanta Braves.
Well, he's not going to get credit for a grand slam because he never ran around the bases. I'm not sure how many runs the Mets will get credit for on that hit.
All they need is 1.
I don't think Robin had any idea that that ball went over the fence. It didn't matter. It was going to clear the outfielders anyway, and Cedeno was going to come home with the winning run. But the ball did clear the fence, but Ventura never ran it out. And we'll wait and see what they make the final score, but it doesn't matter. The Mets have won Game 5 after falling behind 3-0. They have taken the last 2 here at Shea, and now they'll go to Atlanta for Game 6 on Tuesday night. The Mets have won it here in Game 5, and we'll come back and let you know what the final score actually was in a moment on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Here at Shea Stadium, the Mets have won a remarkable ball game, the longest postseason game in history by way of time. Better than 5.5, nearly 6 hours here at Shea Stadium. The Mets fell behind in the top of the 15th inning and then won it in dramatic fashion as Robin Ventura cleared the right field fence for a grand slam home run. He never ran the ball out. He never touched home plate, so the Mets will not get credit for a full 7 runs. We'll have to wait and see what the official score says, but it hardly matters because the Mets are heading to Atlanta for a game number 6 on Tuesday night. And tonight's Mets Nikon camera player of the game is Robin Ventura, who had the game-winning grand slam. The game recap is brought to you by Allstate Insurance. And Bob, I don't know if we'll ever see another game like this.
That was just a completely unbelievable ball game. What a game it was. Olerud hit a 2-run homer in the first inning off Greg Maddux, and the Mets had a 2-0 lead. In the 4th inning, The Braves tied the game up. Chipper Jones doubled in a run. Brian Jordan knocked in a run. It was 2-2, and do you know that ball game stayed 2-2 until the 15th inning. In the top of the 15th inning, the Braves managed to get a run. It looked like they would go on to a victory, but they did not do it. It was Keith Lockhart who knocked in a run for the Braves in the 15th inning. So the Mets came in to hit in the last of the 15th inning. Sean Dunston with an amazing turn at bat. He fouled off about 10 pitches, finally got a base hit. Then came a walk to Matt Franco. A bunt laid down beautifully by Edgardo Alfonso. An intentional walk to John Olerud. An unexpected walk to Todd Pratt with the bases loaded. Forced in the tying run. The game was tied 3-3. It brought up Robin Ventura. And Ventura hit a grand slam home run. Now, whether the score will stand up remains to be seen. On the board, they have 7-3 New York. But Ventura never got completely around the bases, never touched home plate. But as of right now, we'll assume that it's a grand slam home run, and that would make the final score the Mets 7 and the Braves 3. What are your thoughts on that final score?
I think they probably will not give them credit for the 7th run since he didn't touch home plate, but ultimately, who cares?
Yeah, who cares is right. It's either a 6-3 or a 7-3 victory for the New York Mets, who used 9 pitchers in the game. Octavio Dotel is the winning pitcher. Kevin McGlinchey is the losing pitcher. The Braves used 7 pitchers of their own. So the baseball season is still going on for the amazing New York Mets, who came from behind in the 15th inning after playing baseball for almost 6 hours to win the game. And now tomorrow, they'll be flying to Atlanta. And I would assume that Al Leiter will be the starting pitcher for the Mets against Kevin Millwood on Tuesday night in Atlanta, Georgia. What a happy recap for the New York Mets. Truly one of the best victories they've ever had in their 38-year history. Compare that with the victories in the World Series, yes indeed. Compare it with any victory that you can remember in New York Mets baseball history. Any final thoughts, Gary?
All I know is we've been here for almost 6 hours, and this is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. Think about all the jams that the Mets relievers pitched out of in the middle innings. Think about Oral Hershiser coming out of the bullpen and doing what he did. Think about the Mets bullpen throwing 11 consecutive scoreless innings before they finally scored against Octavio Dotel. And then think about the Mets digging in and not letting their season get away in the bottom of the 15th when they all had to be absolutely dog-tired. And I'll tell you what, with this win, who knows what might happen in Atlanta Tuesday night.
They're looking like Destiny's Kids, and give Bobby Valentine a real tip of the cap. What a magnificent job he managed for the New York Mets. The totals in the game for the Mets. 4 runs. They're going to give him credit for 4 runs.
They're giving Ventura credit for a single and an RBI, saying Cedeno was the only run that scored.
So here are the totals then. The Mets 4 runs, 11 hits, 1 error, and 9 left. Atlanta 3 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors. Atlanta had 19 men left on base. Do you believe that? The winner is Octavio Dotel, the 9th pitcher used by the New York Mets. The loser is the rookie Kevin McGlinchey. Did we get a final playing time of the game?
Unofficially, 5 hours and 46 minutes.
5:46, the playing time of the game. The Mets next will play Tuesday night at Turner Field in Atlanta, Georgia. Al Leiter will be on the mound pitching against Kevin Millwood. The series now stands Atlanta 3 and New York 2. So in a remarkable 15-inning ball game that lasted 5 hours and 46 minutes, once again the final score of the game today, the New York Mets 4 and the Atlanta Braves 3.
New York Mets baseball is a production of Sports Radio 66 WFAN in conjunction with the New York Mets. Studio operations by Dave Bunzel, Andy Roth, and Saladin McLean. Our producer-engineer in the booth is Chris Machkowski. The coordinating producer is Danette Gillespie, and the executive producer of Mets baseball is Eric Spitz. Be sure to join us on Tuesday night. The Mets and Braves play Game 6 in Atlanta. Mets Extra at 7:30 on Tuesday night, and Croton Watch Game Time at 8:12. Now for Bob Murphy, I'm Gary Cohen saying so long from Shea Stadium in New York. Stay tuned for Mets Extra with Ed Coleman on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.